everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in the really real Ghostbusters in Terror Vision. Today is January 7th, 2023, and you are loved. That is a very important message that we like to start each and every single one of our games with here on this channel, because we believe it is a very important thing to remind folks of. If this is your first time joining us, you can go to youtube.com/indooradventures to check up on all of the VODs of each of the games that we have played on this channel up until this point, or you can go towards anywhere audio casts are being made available for free. You can find us there under the same moniker. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can check up on our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you have any questions for myself or any of these other fine folk, feel free to join us again over at patreon.com/indooradventures. Easiest way to ask us those questions, the Twitch chat to the side, an absolutely great place to do it. But Twitch chat can move kind of fast sometimes, so how about instead I click the button and nothing happens in the chat, and I feel like that's a little bit of a letdown. But if you look at the description of this video or audio cast down below, that's where you can find the link to our Discord. You can come hang out with me, a lot of these other fine folk. It's a great time. And again, you can feel free to post all of the questions that you have for us into that chat as well. But let's say you already support us on YouTube, you already support us on Twitch and Twitter and all of those other wonderful places, and you're trying to think to yourself, where can I go to help support this fantastic show even more? Well, guess what, Acorns? I got your back. Quite literally, in fact, because if you go to indooradventure.redbubble.com, we got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got crop tops, throw pillows, shower curtains, aprons, clocks. We even have face masks with the symbol of Tiamat upon it, designed by our very own Cyberwolf 1201, and where all of the proceeds of our merch currently goes to help support Doctors Without Borders. So if you would like to help support a good cause or possibly help support the show, you can again go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. That is Indoor Adventure, no S at the end, .redbubble.com. But that is it for my opening spiel. So hey, Ted, who are you playing today?
Oh, well, and a big stretch for myself, as one could tell from what I'm wearing. I am playing Ted, the Ghostbuster, because this is a lifelong dream of mine, and I'm going to live it to the fullest. And my pronouns are he, him.
Excellent. And heck.
Living your best life over there. Hey, everybody.
It couldn't be happier to be here.
Hey, everybody. I'm SirHeckalot. And tonight I am playing Natalie Collins. The two of us both use she, they pronouns.
And I am the indoor adventurer, he, him, and tonight I shall be playing as Maurice Williams. We both go by he, him.
Ooh, I'm Lex, and I'm playing the Ghostmaster. That's just the term for Game Master in West End Games' Ghostbusters, the 1986 RPG that we are going to be playing for this campaign. I'm not going to get super into the rules. They're pretty light anyway, but suffice it to say it is a dice pool D6 system. I think maybe as we're playing, we'll elaborate a little more on what's happening with the mechanics, but should be pretty easy to pick up. And gosh, we're just gonna run right into it. At the beginning of the stream, Indoor said that it was January 7th, 2023, but I'm gonna counter that with saying that it's actually January 1st, just turned January 1st, 1986. So the camera tracks in on a TV set that is positioned in a display area of what looks like a dimly lit department store. Suddenly, the TV turns on. A cheery woman in a pastel pantsuit appears on the screen. She says, "And that's not all. Come on down tomorrow for even more great deals and spend the first day of 1986 at Macy's." Then the image suddenly sputters out with a crackle as the television set is wrenched free of the display stand and hurled toward several figures who are crouched behind clothing display racks. Ted and Natalie, a television seemingly picked up from by some unseen force, just hurtles at the clothing rack you were next to, and you ducked just barely in time as it slams into it and falls to the ground smoking.
Well, incoming.
Okay. Well, I think we found it.
I would be wont to agree with you there.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put on the goggles that I have because if it's invisible, I'm gonna look for it.
Just throw those ecto goggles on.
Big same. I don't have the physical ones, but I'm gonna mimic you in solidarity.
We've got the props. You peek out over the clothing rack and look around with the ecto goggles, and you see. Oh, let's see here. There is a. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Yeah, there is a. An elegant-looking woman in 40s attire, except she's got this odd spectral glow about her, and you can sort of see through her body. She also doesn't have any legs. There's just sort of like vapor from the waist down. And she's just looking around. She doesn't seem to exactly know where you are because you're still kind of ducking around. Maybe you like peeked out from between the rack of like coats or something. And she's kind of looking around, and she's just like, no one's gonna get these deals but me. I was here first.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, good news is I don't think she sees us, but she's also hunting for deals, turns out. So,
And hopefully that's it. But at this point, Natalie is going to get on the walkie-talkie. Just, Maurice, we found one. We got a live one in women's apparel aisle 6. Over.
Cut to the first floor. We see another Ghostbuster wandering through the fake snow of a Santa's village setup. Suddenly, their walkie-talkie goes off, and they hear that message.
Maurice, and just a general description, because we don't have our busts just yet. Those are coming soon. But Maurice, for those of you at home, for audiocast listeners, is a older individual, a little bit more heavy set, balding, short hair. If you know what Mr. Spellman from the Sabrina the Teenage Witch series looked like, or like a young Wilford Brimley, very much that look of just sort of a walrus mustache, the full moon glasses. And here's the static of the walkie go off, and just, you said women's apparel. What floor is that on? Over?
That is floor,
second.
just for me to tell you, that is floor 3.
Oh, 3.
Maurice is currently on floor 1.
Maurice, like, off the walkie, inhale, deep sigh. I'll be right there. He puts the walkie onto his hip, and like he's keeping an eye out for anything that might fall into his bag on the way through Santa's village that hasn't been torn down just yet. But he begins making his way in the direction of, I'm assuming, escalator to go to the 3rd floor.
There are escalators, there are elevators, and there are stairs. The escalator is the most visible.
He'll take the escalator. Stairs sound like a lot of work, and elevators can be a hazard. Worst case scenario, an escalator breaks, and then it's just stairs.
So let's deal with a little bit of Maurice first, right? Maurice, you're trudging through the fake snow, making your way. The whole place is it's after hours. The place is mostly dark. There's like dim lighting right now. And all the displays are turned off, right? And you're walking past, and you just suddenly feel this chill wind come by you, and some of the fake snow sort of whips up, and you swear you just hear like a very faint laughter. And then suddenly one of the there's like a Santa and Mrs. Claus like animatronic mannequin things, and they suddenly just start they both light up and just start moving, doing their like wave thing.
And Maurice, like, eyes closed, he tight, like, because he wears just an older jacket over his Ghostbusters jumper. So he'll like pull it a little closer because it's a little chilly, or I think he'll like zip it up And then just, all right, listen here, you spectral son of a gun. You come on out and you face me right now, or you leave me alone. You got two options, Buster.
Some more wind whips up just like around you. Nothing immediately jumps out at you, but you see that between you and one set of escalators is a section that has a bunch of there's obviously like boxes of toys on display all over the place. Nintendo Entertainment Systems, He-Man action figures, the whole nine. But there's one area that's directly in your path that's like wrapping paper stuff. It's probably one of those areas where like the staff has of those big rolls of wrapping paper so they can wrap the gifts as people buy them for like the gift wrapped option. So there's one of those, and you see like some of the wrapping paper sort of like flap around in the breeze, and you like hear the laughter in that direction.
And then Maurice hops on the walkie. Was en route to floor 3, women's apparel. Got a live one here on first floor. Looking for direction on this one. Over. And like there is the pause where like he ends the call and like, all right, you have to say over when the call's ended.
Exactly. It's radio talk. It's very good. I mean, like, I know what escalator he's talking about, or do I have no idea where he is right now?
I'm pretty sure, let's say the layout is pretty simple. There's the escalators are around the middle of each floor, and then just go straight up through the building, which is, standard. The real Macy's is like 8 floors, but 4 floors. Each one is identical, basically, in terms of layout. There's obviously just different merchandise in all of them.
Okay. Turn on the walkie-talkie again. Do you think you can handle it, or do you want us to come down? Over.
It sounds like it's just one of the younger ones, so, maybe, who knows, voices can be deceiving and all that, but I think right now, if he's ghosting around in Toy Town, this is, he needs a father figure in his life.
Well,
Over.
Well, okay. This one is a little bit of a bargain hunter like you, so I think we gotta handle this one. She's a little tougher. Black Friday sales.
Always
Over.
trying to get the best deals. Over.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Who would we like to deal with? Do we want to go back to Maurice for a little bit more? Or do we want to deal with the 2 people on the 3rd floor?
I mean, this sounds like this is at least a class 3, right? Full torso, maybe free floating, maybe focused. Don't know what we're dealing with here. Could be a free repeater, not sure. A lot of things to figure out about this. I don't know what we've got down on the 1st floor, but I'm ready to go. I love this. This is why I do this. This is what it's all about.
So Natalie has just gotten off the radio with Maurice, and yeah, it sounds like whatever Maurice is dealing with, way less of a big deal than what you guys have got up here. So meanwhile, this lady ghost is just like looking around, and she's like, "Oh, I better not catch you trying to get those half-off coats. Those are mine. I'm getting it." But she's looking around, and you see as she's moving, a lot of the things that are around her, like clothing and like maybe cosmetics and stuff, because that was also some of the stuff that's on this floor, shift a little bit. So like as she moves past a rack of clothes, like all of the like if there's a bunch of folded shirts, as she moves past, all the shirts just like unfold and like leap out and fall onto the floor. And she is headed your way just by the fact that she is like sort of scanning the area, right? And because all the clothes move as she moves past them, and that's primarily what you're hiding behind, if you stay in the same place, she will find you.
All right. What do you think we should do to get the drop on her?
I mean, she's not looking for us. She doesn't know we're here. I think we can literally just get the drop on her. Just come out.
Or can we do that sneak attack thing where like we're posing as some of the mannequins
yeah.
and then blast her? I want to do that.
Well, maybe, I mean, maybe we can just set the trap on the floor and then like move off to the side and just let her go right over top of it.
Ooh.
And then just step on it, get her right in it.
Worth a shot. Let's try it.
Yeah, all right. I like this idea.
To roll the trap out underneath her without her noticing, I want to roll. So, we're getting into the game mechanics.
Yeah,
first roll of the game.
Ooh. This is it's a D6 dice pool system. Players roll, and they basically just add up all the numbers on the D6s. They might have a relevant skill to what they're doing. They get to add more dice if they have that. They also have a stat that determines some of their dice. And then they're telling me the total number, and we're seeing if that meets a threshold that I established for the task.
Now, Lex, for this game, there is also a special dice that gets rolled into the pool as well, right?
The ghost die.
And what is the ghost die?
The ghost die it's a D6 almost like any other, but the 6 on it is a ghost, is the Ghostbuster symbol, right? And it acts just like any normal die. If you roll any other number on it, you get to add it to your roll, fine. But if it rolls the ghost, then something spooky happens, mostly something bad for the players. Ghosts, when they get to do stuff, also get to roll the ghost die, but when they get a ghost on it, something good happens for them. So we'll see what Ted rolls to try to sneak out this trap. And I don't know, what do you think this would be? Would this be moves?
Sneak as
you have
moves
sneak
ability, which I feel like is the perfect choice for this.
That's exactly, yes. Textbook.
All right. So, do we want to talk? You want to just roll it, or do you want to explain? The mechanics are pretty simple, but
no, I mean, I think for now we're good. I can talk a little bit more about them as we go, but just go ahead and roll it, and we'll see.
All right, here we go.
Get.
I got the ghost die.
Oh, you got the ghost.
I rolled an 18 on 46, folks, which is pretty good, but one of those is the ghost die.
So I guess now we'll talk about the ghost die.
Well,
so there are the different thresholds for rolls. I was gonna set this one at a 15 because that seemed pretty appropriate. But that's between like normal job and hard job for something like this. So that's a success. But because you got the ghost, something bad also happens. Actually, for those familiar with like Powered by the Apocalypse system, the idea of like non-binary results. So something good and something bad happens in this situation. So you roll that trap out. It slides right under this floating lady's feet. She doesn't see it at all. But you just take a little too long with it, and she whips around right in your direction just because she's looking in that direction, and all of the coats that you are crouched behind just fly off of the rack, and it's just you two standing there in this behind the frame of this rack, and she's looking right at you, and her eyes like glow menacingly. I will point out, just in case it wasn't clear from earlier, she's not invisible.
Okay.
Opacity at like 85, but like not invisible.
You know.
You can see through it, but and she's just like no. It's like this is our department store now. It's ours. And as she says that, there's like a display counter behind her, and like a big piece of particle board just rips off of the top of it and starts hovering up above her head very menacingly. What do you guys do?
I blasted.
Yeah, it's like, so anyway, I started blasting.
Yeah.
The two of us together could possibly move her to the trap.
We can salvage this. I think.
We can try.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, let's jump over to the rules on blasting. So this is again just another dice pool roll, right? And I think that the way initiative works in this game, it's kind of like everyone says what they're going to do, and then the Ghostmaster kind of just decides what order things happen in. So what I think I might do is have her throw the piece of desk at you.
Okay.
And, oh, you know what? Let's do it this way. She throws the piece of desk at you right as you light up. So that's going to increase the difficulty of the roll to hit, and we'll just see what happens with it. Now, another fun thing that the players may want to consider doing, because now they have a higher difficulty for their roll. Players have brownie points, which serve as both experience and health, but are also a pool that can be used to add dice to your dice pool. So if you want to spend any brownie points to give yourself some extra d6s for what you're about to do, feel free. I'm going to check the rules to make sure there isn't anything for like assisting people, just because you're both blasting at the same time, you know. I'm going to do that while you just think about whether you're going to spend any points or not. Oh, you know, actually, could you both? Well, Ted doesn't have to describe his character because we're looking, right?
We're looking at it.
If you're doing the audio, I'm sorry, but if you're watching right now live, we already know what Ted's character looks like. But could we have Natalie's character?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I meant to do that last conversation, just like completely got distracted. Natalie is a average height, like 5'4" woman with split bangs that go past her chin, dark brown hair with these green eyes that are very confident, very mischievous at times, and is obviously like wearing her proton pack and the goggles. Since they're on her face, she usually wears them around her neck. But yeah, right now she's looking at her. Is ready to blast. Would it be possible for this roll to, instead of just using like straight moves to proton pack, I took dodge specifically, and she's throwing something at us, and it's a moves thing. So would it be possible for me to add that?
That's interesting. You know what? I'll allow it.
Cool.
Spend a brownie point if you're going to do that.
Okay.
Just not to add dice, but just to be able to do it.
Sure.
This game gives the flexibility of the Ghostmaster to demand the spending of brownie points for all sorts of different things. In the future, we may also run into, if someone actually, you know what? I'll save it in case something bad happens. We'll get to that. But yeah, so I would say, yeah, both of you need to roll. You both roll separately, and we'll see what you get. My target number currently is, we're looking at a 20. Because there's a huge piece of desk flying right at you.
Yeah, I'll take that 25. Let's go.
And it's moves, right?
Yes. For the whole thing.
Oh boy. Yeah, okay. And at each brownie point is an additional
D6.
I'm gonna spend 3.
Sure.
And I'm going to try. I don't know if it lets me. I guess I could just artificially raise the number while I roll it to do that. So let's see.
Oh, that's true. So we're using a dice roller, and how to integrate brownie points into that, I just realized is not particularly easy. But if you want to, we're in roll 20. So for the player's benefit, if you want to just bring up the little, the dice roller roll 20 app, you can like select a certain number of d6s to roll and just have it do that instead of going through the hotkeys on the character sheets, if you'd like.
Yeah, so I artificially bumped it up to 5 from 2, so I got a 16.
Cool. A 16? Oh, not enough. Natalie's proton stream hits the lady ghost. This very fashionable lady ghost, and the beam just smacks into her. She wheels backward, disoriented. But at the same time, this piece of desk that she had hurled telekinetically at the two of you hits Ted right in the chest. He falls backward into a pile of coats. Uh, lose 2 brownie points.
Oh no.
Oh no, not the brownie points.
The brownie points.
I know.
And then the ghost lady is just like she's very distraught by the fact that she was hit with this proton beam. She's lost some ecto presence. Well, the rules drop there, huh? And she is going to she doesn't so she can hover or fly basically because she doesn't have legs, but she doesn't seem like she can go through solid objects. So she just is, the fact that she's been hit, she's not into it, and she zoops out of there down another aisle and out of sight. But she has to take like a normal walking path, but she does that's what she's trying to get away currently. So that's what her action is going to be. What are you two doing? One of you's under a piece of desk. The other one is just like, I hit.
Got it. Oh, Ted. She'll go over to the pile of coats, like trying to unearth him from them.
Yeah.
And hold out a hand.
GGK,
think she went-
thank you for the raid.
Yeah.
Yo,
Thank you, Raiders.
Thanks.
Well, that didn't work according to plan.
When does it
I know.
ever, especially
I know.
on New Year's Day?
Yeah. Maybe my head's just not in it. I don't know. Figures we have to work tonight anyway. So,
Hmm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna reel up the trap and roll, up the cable and put it back on my belt and be like, all right. Well, I guess I really didn't see where she went because I was under a desk and some coats. Which way did she go?
I think she went towards shoes.
There's the shoe section. Exactly. You two could try to pursue if you'd like. I'm not forcing you out of the action. You can just jump up and go after her. We'll just need some kind of roll to figure out where she went.
Yeah, I want to go after her.
Mm-hmm.
Not letting her get away. That was on me. So we know like a general direction she went, but now we're just trying to track her essentially.
Yeah, you just head off in that direction. Yeah, and I would ask for a roll to see if you can spot where she's at.
I got 2 things I'll throw out at you. I got run, so I can just chase her.
Oh, sure.
Real
Okay.
fast.
Totally legit.
Or I also have occult. I don't know if that would help in this particular instance because like I feel like that's more research based, but also like I don't know.
I mean, I could so totally see occult as viable if you were like, what's the weakness of this ghost? Maybe I've read about this kind of ghost before. So if you want to use it that way, totally an option. If you want to run, also totally a great option.
Yeah, I think I'm just like I messed up. Time to turn this around. I'm just chasing after her, pack just clanking along on my back.
Ted running into danger. It's important for the character.
Yes, it is.
What is Natalie gonna do?
I mean, I'm trying to think. Like,
I think when you tell me like she went towards shoes, I'm just like cool, and I just run.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Okay, she'll just try to keep up as much as she can. And yeah, I don't think there's anything applicable right now in terms of moves that I want to do.
Okay. You could also, if you wanted, like, I don't know if this game technically has a like hold your action type of thing to it, but I'd say if you'd like, I'll give you the option to basically be like, oh, okay, if I see her, or if Ted spots her and then could be like, oh, she's over here, I'll just blast in that direction. If you want to do
That would
something
be
like that.
yes, that would be great.
Okay. Ted, give me that run roll.
20.
Ooh, easy. Yeah, for sure. You just blitz into the shoe section, running past all the run past all those Adidas, and you're like, I don't need those. I'm good. and you round a corner, and yeah, it's she moves fast, but you move faster, and you've caught right up to her. She's like, I mean, she's not running 'cause she doesn't have legs, but she's making the running motion with her arms as she moves forward, and she like looks behind her, and she's like, very distraught that you have already caught up.
Yeah.
Do you wanna
Oh
call
yeah.
out?
No, I skid around that corner, and as soon as I see her, it's just I'm going for it.
Sure. Well, so you spend your action to get there.
That's true.
Yes.
That's my plan.
But you do see her, so you could shout to Natalie.
Oh.
She's like, "Oh, she's right here." You know, you could do
Yeah,
that.
oh definitely. Yep, she's over here.
Ah, nice between the heels. It's gonna try to blast.
Make that roll.
right.
I'll make it a 10.
Okay.
Get a 10 for me.
Oh no.
No.
For those of you just audio only, that was an 8.
Note for future games to Simon, we should try to have the dice roller up on. Should think about trying to do that. We can. I know the layout you've done here is exquisite. I don't want you to alter it, but you know, I'm just
we'll figure out a way to at least get the number, to at least get the total up on there.
Totally. So yeah, your beam flies offward and hits. I don't know. So I want to say Ugg boots, but those did not exist yet. It's some like nice like leather shoes that just explode, and all these bits of like flaming leather fall down. Collateral damage, part of being a Ghostbuster. Okay, she is going to she feels like she can't outrun Ted because he's too fast. So instead she's going to scream very angrily, and her mouth is gonna like open extra wide, you know, ghosts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna swoop forward and try to go straight through you.
Oh no.
Classic.
This is her rolling, I assume.
Yes. And what she can get here. Okie dokie. You know, actually, I should probably look up how this ability works before I use it. That'd be a good idea. Probably. I admit to the audience that while this game is, you know, pretty simple, I think overall, I have only run it a scant few times.
If it helps, though, the layout is much easier to read than anything Monty Cook has released in the last decade.
Wow.
True. Actually true. Listen, I love Numenera, but it's a mess.
Gosh, didn't we try to play Invisible Sun one time?
Oh yeah. Try being the what is it? The action verb?
Chat agrees.
Yeah, okay. She does just have a target number. It doesn't make like an opposed DC or anything like that. She goes straight through you. You get slimed, baby. Classic. She rolled quite well. She goes straight through you, sliming you. Ugh. I just had to. I was gonna be like, what order is stuff gonna go in? No, she's gonna slime first. That's what's gonna happen. But now you two can act.
What does that do to me?
Oh, that's a good question. Being slimed is uncool. If a character is slimed, his cool trait is halved round up until the slime is removed. Let's see. Let's see. If a oh, okay. I didn't roll a ghost, so it's not extra bad. Yeah, you're just gooey.
I'm just gooey. Okay.
It's the goopy
such a
guy.
Scientific game. Okay. And then she just keeps going through me, I assume.
Yep. Doesn't get very far away though, because it's like you already got up to right where she was. She just turned around and slimed you, and she just like went through you, but she's probably only 5 or 10 feet behind you now.
All right. Well, I'm able to. I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna try a blaster again.
Yeah, you totally can do that. You're just uncool, but nothing worse than that happened.
That's fine. Okay.
Oh,
And
that'll
what
never
is it?
wash out.
And it's a moves to blast,
hmm
and it's
And
not affected by the slime.
it's not affected by the slime. Yeah, because that would just be cool trait. Let's see. I think that you would be at basically point blank range, which affects what the roll would be. Yeah, that's only gonna be a 5. That's all I need.
Okay, then we're not spending any brownie points. We're just going. Actually, I lied. We're gonna spend 2 because I want it. I'm done with this.
I will point out. Well, we'll see what you roll, and then we might get into another little rule tidbit.
11, but a ghost.
Okay. So here's what happens. We will get into this rule tidbit because you got an 11. So when you blast, you reduce a ghost's ectopresence, and you just have to like get over the number, right? But since the number was so low, you more than doubled it, which means you get to reduce the ectopresence by another value because you doubled the roll you needed.
Okay.
And because this is not an extremely hard ghost, because this is the first encounter in the first session, you have just reduced this ghost ectopresence to 0, which means it is temporarily very vulnerable to being in a trap and somewhat disoriented. But you got a ghost, so we got to figure out what goes wrong. I mean, there's that goo. It got into that proton pack, and then you fired the proton pack up. It had the goo in it. Proton pack worked, but yeah, there's some smoke coming off the back of it. It's sparking a little bit, and you're just like, ooh, is this it's gonna be a problem going forward?
Yeah.
This particle accelerator on my back.
All right. That was my action, right? To blaster.
Yeah, but heck, you've still got an action, and this ghost is completely disoriented. There's basically, it'd probably be like in the movie, the proton stream is wrapped around it, and it's like, ah.
I mean, I'm not the one with the traps. Is it possible for him to throw one of the traps to me or something? Like,
yeah, how does that work?
Not until next round because he's already used his action. So
okay.
I don't know. The ghost might. I don't remember how long the ghosts stay disoriented, but let me think.
It might not be a bad idea for you to try to, wrangle it too, in case my pack decides to continue arcing and sparking.
Yeah,
and then I'll throw the trap next turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go to the other side of the aisle and cut her off and then blast.
Sure.
So there's one on either side.
She is immobilized, so you can get right up close to her and get a point blank shot. So only a 5 needed on your roll.
All right. Well, let's see. We thought I could roll over a 10.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're good.
Nice. Got a 14. Ghost die of 2, so we don't have to worry about that. And yeah, so now both of you have your streams on her. She's all wrapped up, and she's just like making unearthly wailing sounds, being like, no, there was a great deal on faux fur that I needed to get. She's like straining against the beams, and I mean, yeah, she's basically disoriented. So, Ted, if you want to throw that trap down.
Yeah.
The fact that you've both got her wrangled, like you could probably take your beam off and then throw the trap down. I feel like I don't even need a roll for it. I feel like you're good. You.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
She's sucked down into the trap. Trap closes and smoke's coming off of it. You got one.
I gotta say, I really did like her coat. That pattern was nice.
Yeah, she did seem to have a thing for fashion, but I do. This seemed like it wasn't going to be so bad. And then I got slimed and had a desk thrown on me. So I wonder how Maurice is doing.
Yeah, let's see if we can get that off of you.
Yeah. Cut to. Yeah, I like the idea of Natalie just picking up like a shirt from one of the
Yeah.
stands and starts like using it like to wipe down Ted. Cut to Maurice. You're making your way out of the Santa's village.
Yeah, I'm going through Santa's village. I start hearing a clatter several floors up of, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
like explosions, tables scrambling, yelling, and just there's no reason we had to work this job this day. Could have waited till morning, but no.
Are you gonna hustle to get up there because you've heard this noise, or are you just gonna keep going?
I'm going to assume that since nobody called on the walkie to ask for backup or anything,
They've got it handled.
they got it handled.
Sure. All right.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, we can't call in the big guns because they're over in Hollywood trying to score, what is it, a movie deal on another
Well,
Ghostbusters
listen,
franchise?
We'll get to that. We'll get
Okay,
to that.
sounds good.
Don't worry. So you but like I said, the wrapping paper was moving around. Did you decide to try to investigate that, or did you just head to the escalator?
I'll investigate the wrapping paper because, again, like, I wasn't gonna bother with going up the escalator. Like, I got a little scamp running around on this floor, I'm fairly certain, so I might as well address that before going up.
You get to the wrapping paper, and yeah, you just hear this little high pitched kind of laughter sound, and like the wrapping paper is like shaking a little bit, and then you walk up to it, you get up to it, and it stops. And for a second, everything's quiet, too quiet. And then suddenly all the rolls of wrapping paper shoot forward like ribbons of just of Santa print just shooting at you, wrapping around you. I need a roll to dodge this.
Okay, so that's just gonna be moves.
Mhm.
Because I don't have the dodge skill. I'm not prepped for this like Natalie is. So I'm gonna use 2 brownie points to give myself 2 extra die for moves.
Sure.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A 12. A 12 is going to be enough.
Okay.
I was looking for a 10. I didn't get a chance to say it, but that's what I was looking for.
Well,
the advantage to someone trying to wrap you in wrapping paper is very easy to tear apart. So the wrapping paper comes at you and you're just batting it away and it's like ripping apart.
look, Maurice has been through plenty of Christmases. He knows the wrapping paper game.
And you see as you're doing that, this little ghost, kind of vaporous, shoots out from behind the wrapping paper thing and arcs upward. This apparently can fly. Arcs upward, straight up towards the ceiling, hits the ceiling, goes through it, laughing the whole time. Just like, look at this prank I've played on this foolish human. This is great.
And I'm guessing that, like, when the kid goes through, that there is like a little slime patch that happens. Yeah. Does any drop down onto, say, a Nintendo system?
Sure, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, into the duffel bag that guy goes. Mario and Duck Hunt all on one cartridge? Insane.
Wow. This one's got a light gun.
Oh, wait, no. Maurice's luck, he would get the like the world track meet or like the athletics version that has, but no mat to play it on. He has the system in the game, but he has no way to play it. So yeah, into the duffel bag, and then he will just begin strutting over and hop on the walkie and just, I hope everything is going well up there. Heard a little bit of a clatter. Just wanted to let you all know that there is a little bit of a spiritual scamp that is making his way up there to the second floor. Don't know which department he's going into. Hopefully food court. You know, it is New Year's Eve, after all, we owe ourselves a little bit of a feast. But he's on his way there. So am I. Over.
Yeah, we just handled the one up here. We can meet you. Over.
The oh, just to describe that ghost a little bit more. So it was vaporous. It was kind of, I don't even want to say it had like a body shape. It was more just like, maybe had like a face. Maybe it was like some vapor that was moving through with like a little bit of a goofy cartoonish face on it. But it was very like insubstantial. If the opacity of the last ghost was at like 80%, the opacity of this ghost is at like 15 or 20.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, very insubstantial. You go over to the escalator and start heading upward. The escalator seems fine. You head up, and the floor above you is indeed the food court. You've guessed correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, this is almost as great as when the Bears got Ditka. What a great time.
You can hear a commotion coming from the McDonald's on one side of the food court. Your friends have not quite gotten there yet, but they will soon, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, the fryers aren't on. They don't have anything hopefully going, and if they did, that's probably a health concern. But we'll make our way over there.
Sure. You make your way over. There's, the different seating arrangements. Seems fine. The noise is definitely coming from behind the counter, somewhere in the back where the food is prepared.
Okay, yeah, he'll get his proton pack out. He's going to have it, like, not at the ready kind of deal. He's going to have it a little bit looser, like, it could be a ghost. It could be rats. Could be Rat King. We don't know these things, but it's in like a food court area, so like anything goes.
Yeah, totally. You walk past the counter, ready to go, and yeah, there's this noise, and it sounds like it's coming from the back, and you can see this place is dark mostly. I mean, there's some like dim lighting, but you can see in the far back of the area the walk-in freezer. The door is ajar and there's light coming from out of it. And also like a nice mist curling out of it and onto the floor.
That just seems like a health concern. Hey, little fella, if you're over there, just, maybe cut it out. Let's, we can all call this early. How about this? You come back and, you haunt tomorrow. You'll be fine.
You hear the laughter, the childlike laughter of this ghost. As you're approaching, suddenly stops. And whatever commotion was happening in the walk-in freezer goes quiet.
You like games?
And then next to you, the fryolator grease. Right? Don't worry, you're not going to be hit with hot grease. This is a kid's show.
This is cool grease.
This is cool. No, the thing's not on, right? So yeah, it would just be gross. Maybe as gross as getting slimed if you got hit by it. But no, the grease suddenly starts churning. You notice it, and you're like, wait, is it boiling again? But it doesn't seem like it's boiling. And all of these chicken nuggets leap out onto you. And you can see they've got little faces and they've got like little mouths with sharp teeth. And they're just like, ee! And they start biting at you. And there's just like a dozen of them that have leapt onto you.
I would
Revenge from the grave.
Maurice is going to say, you bite me, I'll bite back. And I'd like to use my gobble food ability.
Yes.
To eat all of these nuggets as they're trying to eat me. I'm going to use 2 of my brownie points. To increase my muscles by 2, so that way I can roll a 22 on my check to eat the chicken nuggets before they eat me.
You've done it.
This is what tabletop games are truly about.
Yeah, for reference, everybody, there were skills that we were able, or like talents we were able to choose during character creation, and one of
Mm-hmm.
them in the book, in the actual source materials, gobble food.
Mm-hmm.
And by golly, I'm gonna take it.
You did it. It was perfect. I set up the scenario perfectly.
So-
Yeah, no, you start just grabbing these little guys, and they're kind of stuck to you, right? Because they're like biting down, but
Mhm.
they're still just chicken nuggets. They're not big, so you just take them, you rip them off, and you just bite them, and just start eating them. They taste great, actually. I mean, they're a kind of like room temperature because they're not super fresh, but they're still McDonald's chicken nuggets.
I'm
so-
gonna need an RC after all this for sure.
for sure. You successfully eat your way through a dozen killer McNuggets. At this point, the rest of the group gets down into the food court and they hear commotion coming from the McDonald's. Someone's moving around in there.
Yeah, you can never tell if he's actually chasing the ghost or he got distracted.
Yeah, those are definitely both options. The only thing I'm concerned about is this trap's full. And I don't remember if Maurice brought a trap.
Well,
So I guess I'll go back to the car and get another trap, is what I'm saying.
Sure, if you want to do that.
So I'll run there because I'm good at that.
All right. Ted never skips leg day.
No, apparently
does
not.
that mean that Natalie heads into the McDonald's, or
Yes.
does she wait? Okay.
I'm gonna go
Uh,
into the McDonald's.
Go into the McDonald's and Ted heads back to the car. You walk into the McDonald's and you see behind the counter is just Maurice, just covered in there's like little rips on his jumpsuit, like little tiny ones, and he's just scarfing down McNuggets as fast as humanly possible.
I think she just looks on in abject confusion.
He will look back and like mouth a little full of the last one. Just, would you believe that they were trying to eat me first? Ugh.
Based on your suit, I think I actually would.
Yeah, these little bite marks all over. They were chicken nuggets. Were being what they used to be. But there's a little guy running around. He's playing some pranks. Mostly a face. Ghost body on the end of that one.
Okay. Do you know where he went?
Thumb over the shoulder at the ominous looking like freezer that's still ajar. Like
camera
light
just
coming
tracks
from
over, right? And you just see the light and the
Ah.
smoke coming out of the freezer. There's like a theremin plays in the background.
I'm gonna assume probably in there. I was handling the McNugget ghost first before hopefully there's a ghost with a dipping sauce in that one.
Mm-hmm. Solid plan.
watch my
Ted's
sodium.
getting another trap, so I guess we should just wait until he comes back.
I mean, Ted's pretty good at running. You know, he could probably play for the Bears if you really like put on a show for it. You wouldn't want to play for the Giants. They don't got Ditka. Now, with that in mind, I mean, I got my pack. You got yours. I mean, we could at least we could wrap him up, like a nice Christmas goose.
I like it.
Make it all nice and pretty for when Ted comes back. That way, he still gets the ghosts and all that, and we get to help.
So you're gonna
All
head
right.
into the ominous walk-in freezer. Very good. You step inside of the walk-in freezer. It's cold in there, but otherwise fairly normal looking. Now that you're like inside it instead of outside it, so the light, it isn't just this light shining out, looks pretty normal. There's, all the frozen like meat patties and stuff. You don't see anything out of the ordinary, but Maurice, you do know that that ghost was pretty opaque. So it might be hiding in here. It's also quite small. Might be hiding in here somewhere.
Don't worry, I came prepared. He pulls out his infrared camera and looking through the viewfinder, he's gonna start scanning because if it's registering heat sources, being in the walk-in seems like the best place to try and track something down.
It's interesting. Do ghosts give off heat?
Maybe.
No.
There'd still be a differential at least, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's true. You're scanning around the walk-in with your. I mean, it's not a very big room, right? You both are in there. And you sort of look around. You're not seeing anything, and then you turn back towards the door. And right there, like next to the door, like by the door frame, is that little smiling face. And just as you see him, he swoops through the door, and the door slams shut.
I had a feeling he was going to do that.
Darius.
When I said you both walked in, I was waiting to see if someone was like, wait, I don't walk in.
I've seen this show before.
And then suddenly you hear this sound coming from the far end of the room, like a crank or something. And you see that up against the wall is a curled up hose. That, I mean, obviously, walk-in freezers sometimes have these. I'm just saying. And
Walk-ins
it starts
have a lot of weird shit in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts unrolling from the wall, and suddenly water just starts spewing out of it. And the room begins rapidly filling. But here's the thing. It's not filling up on the floor. It is starting as if the center of gravity is the far wall. And this churning water is filling up from there towards you, the opposite wall, which is where the door is.
Well, that's a problem.
I'm pretty killer at a food eating competition, but Jimmy Chestnut, I don't think is ready for this. I don't think Jimmy Chestnut's around yet.
I'm gonna say, from a rule, let's introduce another mechanic here.
Okay.
Brownie points, as we said earlier, can be spent in a lot of ways. They can add dice to rolls, but one of the things they can also do is get you out of situations. So you could be like, okay, what do we need to just get out of this? And I would be like, oh, I might need 3 brownie points each. I'm just gonna say that you get out of here. So that's always an option. Usually, when the players are in great peril, that's where that kind of thing comes into play. And the fact that this small room is rapidly filling up with water in a very odd angle, you might quickly drown. Who knows?
I think gut reaction. Maurice will bring out his walkie and just say, just looks like we're gonna be in a little bit over our heads over, and then he'll hang up and he'll hear it from
mine.
And then just, Ted doesn't have a walkie, does he?
No. I mean, he knows where we were going.
Well, in situations like this, there's always one tried and true method. There's a brief pause, and then just slamming fists on the inside the door. Help! Like he's just hollering, just calling for it.
Cool. What does Natalie do? Oh, so like I said, you can use brownie points if you want.
Mm-hmm.
You could also just try to be like, I have a talent that would be relevant in this situation, or an item or something like that, and I'd like to roll for it. That is also an option. I'm not gonna, deny you that.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything specifically with the talents or items that I can use right now, but is there possibly something in the environment that I could use to pry this door open with?
Ooh, yeah. Well, let's see. I don't know if there'd be a crowbar in there, but there probably would be, there's like metal racks. You might be able to like grab, just like tear a piece of like metal off of one of the shelving units and just use it in a similar way, right? I'd allow that. Why not?
All right, I would love to try.
Sure. Go ahead and roll. This would be muscle, I believe,
Yeah,
to
it
try
feels
and
like
pry this
muscles to
door
me.
open.
All right.
Let me see what my DC should be for this. Oh, you rolled it. What'd you get? A 7. Well, I feel like it wasn't going to be below a 10. I'm
Nah.
sorry to say. So yeah, you managed to rip this piece of cold metal off of the shelving unit and are just trying to stick it in there and like pry the door open, and it's just like that piece of metal it's too thin. It like snaps as you're trying to do it. And you're just like, uh-oh. Maurice, anything else from you besides just flailing?
Besides flailing and hollering for help, is there a sometimes walk-ins will have a little view window, so that way like you can see in, see out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How thick does the glass look? Would I be able to use my guess skill to determine the amount of either like force or resistance that this glass would provide?
Ooh, yeah, do that. That sounds great.
Okay. Out of 5d6, I rolled 10.
Oof.
I'll let you have it.
Yeah.
You made it to 10. Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, no, the little glass window, you could punch through that. You might hurt, but you could do it.
So he is going to find if there's like a crowbar or something in here.
We already established there wasn't a crowbar.
Okay, cool. He's gonna shake his head. He's gonna reach into his bag and pulls out the Nintendo system. He's just gonna smash he's gonna use the Nintendo to try and smash the window.
That's amazing. That Nintendo system is destroyed, but the window breaks open. You can now reach through. I assume you want to reach through and like pull.
Yeah.
So you can now do that. You can get your arm through.
But I imagine that it's like slightly down, like it's just ever so out of his reach, just for cartoon shenanigans. I would like to use a brownie point to open the door from the inside, because like Maurice isn't that tall of a guy. I think he's like 5'6", like 5'8" at most. So like he does need a little bit of extra leverage to get there. Or he's like lifting, like he's doing the like interlock fingers, like lift Natalie up and then let Natalie like reach out and do it.
No, you know what? I like this because I think normally it would have been more than one brownie point to get out of the situation, but because you sacrificed that Nintendo Entertainment System and you had a good idea, we bring it down to 1. You are able to reach, and just like right as you can both feel the foam of the water like hitting at the back of your necks, you get the door just swings open and you both fall out of the room. And this torrent, like this rush of water that you were hearing behind you, as soon as the door opens, suddenly just goes silent.
Like, no, does any water like come out with us or anything like that?
No. Do you want to turn around and look?
Yes.
There's nothing there.
You know,
I hate the ones that have brains.
You know, we might be working on New Year's, but at least we don't have wet socks.
That's very true.
It's important. It's important. Especially if you had to, when you have to hoof it outside in the cold with wet socks. No good. Gonna catch a cold. So let's cut back to Ted. Ted, you're back at the car, which is a 1984 Winnebago, which has been heavily customized by your Ghostbusters unit to have all the Ghostbusters accoutrement on it, including that roof rack that people,
iconic.
Yeah, very familiar with. You whip open the door. I'm trying to remember where the doors are on it. Is it like a van where it has a side door, or does it have doors on the back?
So the 1984 Winnebago spouts some illustrious doors. Not only is there a door on the driver's side and the passenger side, but you also have a door in the center back for easy access into your mobile living room.
So you probably whip open the center back one,
Yeah.
and you see whatever gear you guys have brought with you. Did you determine what gear you were keeping in the car?
We did not. I just assumed at the very least we'd probably throw extra traps because
Sure.
that seems to make the most sense.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Ted, name an item that you brought extra. One item.
PKE
Okay.
meter.
PKE. Okay. Heck, what's an item you threw in the truck as well?
Ooh, let me see the item list real fast.
And this will be the same question to indoor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
we didn't take a Geiger counter, right? Sure, why not?
okay, there's a Geiger counter in there. There's a PKE meter in there. And I will say there's also 3 extra traps in there, 1 for each of you.
Perfect.
And what would Maurice have thrown in?
He would have brought Tobin's Spirit Guide.
Okay. There's a copy of Tobin's Spirit Guide. Ted, you throw the used trap, the full trap, in there.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you're going to take another fresh one. You can take more than 1 additional fresh trap if you want.
I've been thinking about that, but I think what I'd like to do is swap them out.
Okay.
Full trap for empty trap, and I think I'm gonna swap the goggles for the PKE meter.
Sure. Sounds great. Oh, good.
So-
Yes, take off the goggles.
Yeah,
and pick up your PKE meter, please.
Let's go.
Okay, excellent. It's funny. That is what the PKE meter looks like from the movies, but I've been watching the show, the 80s animated series, so much lately, and the PKE meter design in the show is like really good. It's like
I'll tell you, as a fan, the amount of people that have made one that looks as good is very minimal because that turnbuckle piece with the pieces on the top that fold out is much harder to do for whatever reason.
Sure. Yeah.
This, fun fact, was a shoe polisher originally. That's what this frame was, is an Iona shoe polisher that they retrofit to be the PKE meter.
Very nice.
Fun fact.
Wow. Ghostbusters trivia, everyone. Let's so you grab those things and head back into the building. The brief time you're outside, it's not snowing, but man, it's cold. And it's at this point probably like 12:30, 12:45, so it's like just after midnight on New Year's, and there's like some people wandering around, like a little tipsy, heading back home. The people who end the party early on New Year's are heading back, and like some guy sees you, he's like, "Whoa, Ghostbuster! Oh, cool, man!"
Yeah, well, Happy New Year.
And you head back inside the Macy's.
And I think to myself as I'm walking in, see, this is what it's all about. Recognition, busting of ghosts. This is all running through my head, my inner monologue, as I make my way up to the food court.
Okay, so that's happening as you're walking in. There's like glass doors right into the Macy's. You walk through them and you're thinking, this is what it's all about. And in the camera we can see behind you, and that person who's like, whoa, just like is standing next to the Winnebago and looks a little tipsy and then just throws up on one of the tires.
Oh no.
This is what it's all about.
Oof.
Yeah.
Then, it hurts.
And then you make your way upstairs. You get back up to the food court, and as you're entering in there, you just have time to really briefly see this like little, barely substantial wisp of a ghost giggling as it flies upward towards the ceiling and goes through it with a going upstairs. And then you hear this banging sound, and the sound of like something thudding, or 2 things thudding onto the ground coming from inside the McDonald's.
I'll run to the McDonald's.
Sure. You run to the McDonald's, and laying there in front of the walk-in freezer, so Natalie is laying there, having fallen forward when the door swung open. Maurice is standing there with his arms stuck through the smashed glass hole in the door, and the door is just kind of swinging, and he's like, kind of like swinging with it, and it's just like the walk-in freezer is totally empty. I mean, it's not totally empty, but doesn't seem anything harmful in there.
How we doing?
Well, we haven't caught the ghost yet, but we learned a valuable lesson.
He's a tricky little fella.
All right. Maurice, you need some help?
I think I got it. And he's like the sound of struggling a little bit until he like go over, help him out, but like too proud to ask for assistance.
All right.
There's also a totally smashed Nintendo Entertainment System lying on the ground.
You said this ghost is a kid, right? And he broke a Nintendo?
It was
Yeah.
It was the wildest thing. He threw it at us, saying it was some sort of game, and all that. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even. It was no extra controller or nothing on this one. Just the action set.
Oh well. Anyway, he went through the ceiling up to the 3rd floor.
Okay.
So, I guess we're going back upstairs.
It's time to bust some ghosts.
Yeah. I'm gonna run up the stairs.
I run. Are we taking the stairs, escalator, or elevator?
Was the
feel like
escalator running? I forget. Did we say that? Was it actually still?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that it was. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do that so I can run extra fast up the escalator.
One of the people that skips like every other stair.
Yeah.
Classic. Are the other two of you gonna try and keep up with Ted? Or just
no.
Yeah.
No, not even.
No, we
not
know
in my
better
best
at
day.
this point.
Okay. Ted, make me a roll for
Run roll.
Yeah, I want to see how fast you can get upstairs.
All right, here we go. We are running.
15. That's great.
Yeah. All right.
The other two of you are taking the escalator, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tried and true.
Ted gets all the way up there real quick, just skipping all those steps on the escalator, and it gets up back to the 3rd floor, and sees just in time to see the ghost is continuing upward to the 4th floor.
I'm gonna yell down and be like, "Oh, he's going to the 4th floor." I'm gonna run up the escalator up to the 4th floor.
There is like even like walking briskly up the escalator, like after the 3rd, like to the 4th, just Maurice like hands on hips, just a lot of sodium in those nuggets. Okay, let's.
You got this. Cardio day. Cardio day.
It's the worst.
Get the other escalator, get up to 4. The 4th floor is let's see here. The 4th floor is sporting goods. There's all sorts of displays set up here, and the theme is football. Super Bowl 20 is right around the corner, and Macy's is not missing the opportunity to make as much money on jerseys as they possibly can. We've got specifically here lots of New York Giants jerseys and New York Bears jerseys, and there's a big
Chicago
sign
Bears.
Yeah,
There's Chicago Bears.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Chicago Bears. And there's a big sign that says like I think it's Thursday or Friday of like the week that you are in is Giants versus the Bears head to head in the what are these the divisional playoffs?
Yeah,
I
playoffs.
think I have it written down somewhere. The things that were actually happening this week in 1986. But yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's my entry for football ephemera. Yeah, divisional playoff games. So New York Giants versus Chicago Bears, the biggest displays devoted to that. And then there are smaller displays around for Dallas Cowboys versus the LA Rams, the New England Patriots versus the LA Raiders, and the Cleveland Browns versus the Miami Dolphins, who are all playing against each other this week.
Obviously, you go with the Bears. They got the fridge. They got Ditka. They got everything that you're worried about here. Giants, no way. Nah.
Nope.
He says it very, like, regardless of where he is in New York, he's still a Bears guy. Like, there is no... He doesn't care.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, this whole place is decked out in football, Super Bowl 20 stuff. I should say Ted did get there first because he was running. Let's not. I don't want to take that away from him. So he sees all that stuff first. So I'll get. What is your reaction to it? You don't immediately see this little ghost around. Anyway.
Oh well, we switched out. We're gonna look for it. We're gonna scan for PKE valences if we can.
Ooh, let's roll for that PKE meter.
Yeah.
Are you gonna wait for the rest of your coworkers to arrive, or just go ahead and do it?
I think I'll start at the very least. Start scanning and see what I'm able to. Well, I mean, again, to fully understand the mechanics of how it works in this game, because I don't know. We haven't talked.
That's a good question. Yeah, how does it work in this game? What does the
it
PKE meter say?
Successful brains trait roll detects and measures PKE activity. That's all the card says.
Okay, I guess yeah. I'll just set a difficulty for it. Makes sense that it would be brains.
So,
do you have any talent relevant to using a PKE?
Is my talent
what?
there? So occult.
Oh,
So if it's just straight brains, that's fine too.
Yeah, because you're using technology, so I think it would be straight brains.
Okay, cool. I will make a brains roll. 19.
Oh, very nice. There are. The way I like to describe it, I did it when I was doing playtesting. I described it this way, and I had fun with it. So I'm going to keep doing it this way, even though I don't think this is how it actually works in the movie or TV show of Ghostbusters. The display on the PKE meter is a waveform. So you get kind of different sort of amplitudes of a sine wave depending on what direction you're sort of aiming it in. And yeah, you can see that off to one side, there definitely is a weaker signal, but towards the center of the floor, there is a much stronger signal. So you're definitely picking up two entities on this floor. At this point, after you have found that out, the other two characters get up on the escalator and are now standing next to you as you're sort of scanning with the PKE.
That's too much beeping. Well, I will gesture the PKE meter. It looks like there may be two entities here on this floor.
We only brought the one trap, didn't we?
Yeah, I just swapped out for a fresh one. So we gotta be. So, it's fine. We could do this. We just need to be really strategic. We got one trap, two ghosts. We could do it. It's been done. It's a thing we can do. I'm not loving the vibes I'm getting from everybody right now. I don't feel like everybody's feeling real confident, but I think we could do this.
I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot if you are.
Yeah,
Look, there's three of us. There's two of them. Obviously, if Mallory here, it'd be a little different, but the flooding and all that. But
sure.
We'll take care of it. We'll figure it out.
All right. So I will gesture the direction of the two entities that are coming up on the PKE meter and say one over there and one over there. So I'm going to start walking towards the first one.
The smaller signal.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Which I think probably be safe to assume that little guy that you were dealing with on the lower floors.
Okay.
Does everybody want to head off in that direction? Does anybody want to sneak? Because now you know where it is, and you don't think it might not know where you are yet.
This one is smart. I think sneaking might be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
I will. Sneaking is not my strong suit. Neither is running. But I'll follow y'all's lead.
All right. Yeah, I will take rolls from everybody in the group. Remember, you can always spend brownie points to give yourself more dice if you'd like.
And stealth is moves.
I believe so.
I'm
yes.
gonna use 3 of my brownie points.
For those
gonna
watching
use
at
2.
home, players start with 20 brownie points after freshly making a character, and they have ways to get more and ways to replenish them. Oh, very nice. Okay, so from what did we have here? From indoor, we had a 22. Very good. From Ted, we had a 19. And from Sir Heck, we got a 16. All very good rolls. I'm going to say you all succeed. And nobody got a ghost on the ghost die, although we did get 2 5s. So we were real close
Very
with
close.
2 of them.
Scary.
And you start sneaking around. You're paying attention to where the display racks are. You're trying to keep merchandise between you and wherever this thing is, and you sneak up on it, and you just see that there is this this little guy is hanging out by one of those like a big setup for baseball, and it's like one of the like batting cages things. So there's one of those machines that launches baseballs at you.
Oh,
which,
nice.
Yeah, and the little guy is kind of just like hovering around it and just sort of goes up to it and pokes it like a little bit with a little pseudopod, and the machine kind of whirs to life and starts spitting baseballs, not at you because he doesn't see you, but just at the thing. And then the little kid like giggles a little bit, and it's just like, oh, this is gonna be great when they get up here. I mean, he doesn't say that, but that's the implication. And then just sort of starts to see, kind of like pokes it a little more, and the machine kind of like lurches and like hops around a little bit.
Right. And where is the other entity in relation to this little guy?
So this little guy was in the baseball area that was off to the side. You were getting the bigger waves were coming from the center of the show floor for the sports area. So at this point you're like kind of farther away from that right now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where it was. And it doesn't seem to have moved if you still have your PKE meter running.
Yeah, okay. Well, we can try to catch this guy and then run back and get another trap, do a swap again, or try to hold him and get the other one and catch him in the same trap. I don't know how confident everybody's feeling about holding this one while we deal with the other one.
I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen if we put 2 ghosts in one trap? They turn into a super ghost?
Precedent for that, but I guess we'll find out.
Super ghosts. I will also point out you have the option, because you know where this ghost is right now. You could try to freak him out and drive him towards the other one, and then trigger the trap when they're both next to each other. Just a thought.
In my mind, rather than that, I'd rather have him wrapped up and just slowly cart him over.
Sure.
I don't know if I don't know how
that's what you
want
to do. You can do that.
Game term wise.
We could try it, and worst comes to worst, like we have the drop on him, so like if that somehow doesn't work, he's probably gonna run anyway.
I like it. All right.
Let's do it.
Let's get him.
All right, I'm good with kids. I can hold this one.
All right.
I would think. Gonna use 2 brownie points. Hey.
I'm gonna go ahead and use 1.
Yeah, same here.
This is basically a free round, like a surprise round, right? Because this this entity does not know you're there. Okay, so we've got a 16, a 14, and a 13. We've got no ghosts on the ghost dice. Yeah, totally enough. Because for the range you're at, a 10 would be fine for proton pack blasts. So you fire off your proton. All three of you just blast at this ghost. It doesn't even have time to react. It just gets hit with all these beams and is completely disoriented, wrapped up in these electron particles.
Oh, like Maurice will just hold his. All right, so you two want to get the others? I'll take care of the kiddo.
All right, let's take them over like the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, totally.
He's our balloon.
Yeah, so I guess we'll head over to the center section where this other entity is hanging out.
Cool. Maurice is their proton pack continues to run. They're holding the ghost in place. So for future reference, if Maurice wants to use any other actions, he's gonna have to drop that ghost.
Yep.
Although the ghost will still be disoriented, so all it's gonna really be able to do in that case is flee. But so the other two of you have turned off your packs and are walking forward. You've probably still got the PKE meter out, and you continue scanning, and you're coming up on that ghost. Or so it says. You walk forward. A lot of the aisles sort of end because you're coming to the center of the show floor, and there's a big display. And the big display are two mannequins that are set up like football players that are tackling each other, right? And one of them has the Bears jersey, and the other one has the Giants jersey. And man, that meter's is coming from that display thing.
And then I'm just like, all right, I'll take left. And I just shoot at the left mannequin.
All right, I guess that leaves me for right.
Cool. The beams shoot out. One hits the Giants player, the other one hits the Bears player. The Giants player mannequin explodes. Mannequin bits go all over the place. The Bears player mannequin is hit and falls backward off of the display case. And because there's all this smoke, right? Let's see those rolls. A 10, that's fine for the distance you're at. A 15 is also fine for the distance you're at, but you were shooting a regular mannequin, so it didn't really matter. So your beam definitely hit, Ted. And it knocked this thing backward off of the sort of dais that they're on, so that they're elevated so everyone can see the display, right? And there's a little bit of fire from these burning pieces of the other mannequin. There's some smoke, and as the smoke begins to clear, let's see my writing I've got for this. You hear a low growling noise, like some kind of animal, and you see the mannequin begin to move a little bit. It's still crouched down with its back to you. But you see a seam begin to form along the sides of the lower back of the mannequin, quickly followed by sharp teeth and copious drool. Two bulbous bloodshot eyes open on the figure's shoulder blades. So again, its back is still to you. But the eyes are facing your direction. As the back of the figure opens into a crocodile-like maw with a lolling green tongue, the creature roars and sprints towards you on all fours, the limbs contorted strangely as it's running backwards towards you. Boss battle, tombstone tackle, everybody.
Oh my God.
I'm excited. Oh my God, I love it.
And with that, I would like to take a break because it is a little after 10, so it seems like an appropriate time.
Excellent. This is the perfect spot to go on a break. Perfect commercial time. We are actually going to be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go in a place unless it's to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice. But in the meantime, Now a word from our sponsors. All right, everybody. We'll see you soon. We're back! Hello, everybody! We have returned! I hope you liked those words from our sponsors as much as we did. The only problem with those sponsors is that many of them, if not all, are no longer in business, so we can't collect any royalties for having sponsored them. However, that won't stop us from having a good time. Speaking of having a good time, Tombstone Tackle? Is that his name?
Yeah, Tombstone Tackle.
Terrified. Lex, take us away.
Tombstone Tackle. This gigantic ghost football player thing that runs backwards, like a crouched person, sort of, is running right at you. You hit it successfully with a proton beam, which just seems like it made it very angry. And yeah, it looks like it wants to give you the chomp. So I'm gonna bring up my stat block for it, and we are just gonna say what's happening. So this thing, what it's doing is running at you, and it looks like it wants to tackle you. Like, it looks like it's trying to like run into and slam into you folks. So what are you going to be doing this round?
Hanging on to the kid.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Maurice is probably a little behind everybody else.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I could like potentially get it to like run and slam into if I were to dodge out of the way at the last minute?
Oh, that's
Kind
an
of catch it
interesting
off guard.
idea. Yeah. Let me think here. I mean, what would there be in a sports display area? I don't know. Do you have any ideas? I mean, again, typical department store, big sports display area. It's 1986, so there wouldn't be anything modern in there, but sports parent stuff hasn't really changed that much. Football pads are better now.
It's basically the scene from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when they go and have to find Attila the Hun inside of the sports
Khan.
Genghis Khan, yeah. So it's like a bunch of like stuff, like a bunch of like bats and things like that are around. There's probably like a soccer goal. Nah, it's 86. Nobody gave a shit about soccer then. There wouldn't be a goal set up for that. There'd probably be like a tether ball somewhere. I don't know.
Volleyball net.
That's what I was like, either like tennis or volleyball.
Get him to like do
to like run into it and like get tangled in it. Like, I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay, I'm gonna set that roll at 20.
Okay.
You gotta lead him a little bit. It's not gonna be super easy.
Okay.
But you can.
I can always use brownie points too. I think I'm gonna use 3 of them. I saved them for this.
And I assume this would be moves. Probably moves.
Could I use dodge?
Yes, that would apply in this situation.
All right. Come on, dice. Work with me here.
Whoa!
32. You've done it.
Let's go.
I've done it. And the brownie points paid off.
Yeah. Okay, you see this thing's charging at you. You wave your arms around to get its attention, and it's just like charging, and you see that net, and you're like, I know exactly what to do. And you just, right when it's about to collide with you, you jump at just the right moment, and it tackles that net, hits it, and immediately like the net, the sides of the net just snap from the impact, and the ropes like swing inward and just wrap around this thing.
Now.
All right, yeah. I mean, that all happened. I was ready to just try to face this thing head on as it ran at me and just try to outblast it. But now that it's trapped in a net, I'm gonna blast it again and see if we can't daze it enough to maneuver it over. That's the goal.
All right. This would be a roll of 10 because it is trapped in the net.
Okay. So this is moves. I'm gonna spend 3 brownie points anyway because I don't trust myself here. So here we go. 3 more brownie points. 17.
All right. Well, that's a success. You blast it. Your proton beam hits it. The net catches on fire. um, the ghost is, you can tell from blasting this thing, this ghost is like it's physical, like it's a hard substance, right? I mean, if anything, this is kind of like the dogs from
Sure.
first movie.
Yeah.
So you're definitely hurting it, but you don't seem like you're hurting it that much because it's not in an ethereal form, and that is what the proton packs are meant to deal with. So yeah, this thing's oh, I'm sorry, does Maurice do anything?
I mean, Maurice is gonna Macy's Day Parade this like young other ghost over in the direction of Tombstone Tackle to try and like, okay, like if we're gonna try and one trap two ghosts, might as well.
You know what? Because you're not doing anything else, I want you to make a brains roll for me.
Okay. Because I don't know what it is, can I use my guess skill to try and figure out?
100% use your guess skill.
Let's go.
Ooh, nice. Got a 19. No ghost die. Yeah, you're looking at that and you're just like, wait a minute. You can't suck a physical thing into a trap. It needs to be in ethereal form. And this thing's being blasted, but it doesn't look like it's getting any less physical.
Yeah, I think Maurice would call out that it's probably something inside the mannequin. You need to bust it open. Right. Mannequins don't go in traps. Ghosts do.
It has a mouth. How do we do that?
I don't know. Just keep blasting.
just keep blasting. Meanwhile, the creature is going to use its action to try and rip out of this net like a Hulkamania t-shirt. Yes. Cannot roll a ghost for this to save my life with these ghosts. But the creature roars, and then the burning net that's hanging off of it just chomps down and like rips the net apart. I mean, it doesn't stand up, but it sort of like rears upward a little bit. It probably does a weird thing where like the arms of the person, right, are like its back legs. So it rears up like in like a handstand with like the legs upward and goes like this, like a horse. And then it is, I mean, it's gonna charge one of you again. Probably Natalie again, because Natalie was the one who jumped out of the way. So now it's specifically gunning for you, and we're into a new round.
Oh no.
It's okay, you're great at dodging. If there's one thing that Natalie's good at, it's getting the hell out of the way.
Listen, if it's one thing that Call of Cthulhu taught me, the tank dodge. Okay. I actually want to try something maybe a little different. I'm not gonna just dodge. If there is a particularly like tall display of any kind, I would like to try to jump on top of it out of this thing's reach.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe ooh. Was lacrosse a thing back then? There was a lot of yuppies at the time.
Lacrosse that's like a historical Northern American sport, but as far as popularized,
we're white people.
That's true. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe I'm gonna say sure. And there's like this sort of pillar type thing that has a bunch of lacrosse sticks on it, and you could like leap up onto the top of it, balancing maybe a little precariously, but you're definitely out of this thing's reach.
All right, I'm gonna give that a shot. I'm gonna use 2 brownie points. That seems like a good idea. Oh yeah. Let's go.
You're fine. You leap onto the top of that thing. You're bouncing perfectly on it. This thing, I think I'm going to make it act next because it was specifically gunning for you. So it that's not a good roll at all. It runs forward to this thing and just like is like bumping into it, and you see its mouth opens up and the big green tongue like wraps around the pillar that you're on, but it can't manage to like make the thing tip over, which is what it's trying to do so that you can fall and it can like eat you or whatever. But when it's doing that, you do see inside of its mouth, like where the uvula would be, is there's like another little head that looks like a little lizard, and it's like going yeah 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 yeah, and it's like, you know, like it's like if this was an 80s movie, it would be a puppet for sure.
Yeah.
And it's doing that. That looks slightly ethereal.
All right, we need to aim inside its mouth. I know that sounds really strange, but the actual ethereal ghost is inside its mouth.
And that thing like 80% mouth.
That's true. So Maurice has not done anything yet, and Ted have not done anything yet this round.
Ask you, would I be able to, as far as like getting close to this thing and then still being able to blast, is that a thing I would be able to do?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to get right next to this thing.
Sure.
And I want to stick the proton wand in its mouth and then just let it go from as close a possible distance as possible.
Very good. That will be point blank, so it'll be roll 5.
Okay. You know what? I'm still going to spend 2 brownie points because I don't like this thing at all.
So I'm going to point out one thing to you, rules thing.
Sure.
Remember, you have, well, I guess this doesn't actually make as much difference because you still only have 1 ghost die, but your proton pack is the thing that is malfunctioning.
Oh, I know.
If you roll a ghost die while using the proton pack,
all right,
bad stuff could happen. So just keep it in mind. I'm not going to say
I understand.
And our brownie points are our health as well.
Yeah, I know. But it's all about ghost busting at all costs. That's what it's all about. I'll fine. I'll spend 1. We'll split the difference. I'll go 1 point. Here we go. I knew it was going to happen. I'm the only one who's rolled 1 this whole game.
Ted got a 16. For those watching at home, Ted got a 16, which is perfectly a pass, but he also rolled the ghost
That's
die.
Fine.
A ghost on the ghost die. Oh, also, rules clarification. If you roll a ghost on the ghost die, it just counts as a 0, so it's as if it wasn't adding to your total at all, which actually makes that 16 even more impressive.
Okay, I didn't realize that. So...
Or wait, no, that must not be how it works, right?
Because
you rolled 3d6 and got a 16. So yeah, I guess it does. I thought it
does count.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, the proton stream arcs into the mouth of this creature and hits its weird little lizard head in there, and you just hear the thing roars and reflexively chomps down, breaking your proton wand in half.
Yeah.
At which point you are sent reeling backwards, lose like 3 brownie points.
Yep.
You might be on fire a little bit. You got to stop, drop, and roll. And your proton pack is out of commission completely.
That's fine. I feel I did what I needed to do. Now I'm just trap guy.
I'm
just trap guy. Nice.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Okay.
Maurice, do anything. You see this happen. You see Ted, there's a small explosion, and Ted is thrown backward and is on fire, but seems to be okay. He's probably okay.
You know, as a way of helping, do I think... No, I don't know. I don't even know if that would make, like, help or hinder the situation. If I Macy's Dade, if I ballooned the other ghost up to like the sprinkler system and cause the water to start falling down? Would that mess up all of our electronics because it's 86 and safety issues were a little bit different back then? Or would...
You know, if Ted's proton pack hadn't like partially exploded already, I would have said it would have put him at more risk. But because he's already lost that item effectively, you don't have to worry about that. And nobody else has like damaged equipment, so I think it probably wouldn't be harmful to any of your stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I will. I'll try and trigger the fire alarms using the roped up ghost that I have.
Yeah, give me a roll for that, but I just need a 5 on like I guess moves.
Okay. I have to use I gotta use a brownie point on this one. My moves are not the best. I'm a cool dad. I'm not the best dad though.
There you go.
Worth it. Definitely needed.
Yeah. The sprinkler system comes to life, and Ted is no longer on fire.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
Appreciate it.
Was there anything else besides putting Ted out that you were hoping to accomplish with the sprinkler system? Just as a...
No, that was it.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully, Ghost doesn't like water. I mean, maybe it does. It used water on us. Maybe that was a different ghost.
No,
I don't know. I was in charge of holding the boy.
So witches don't like water. That's the...
Oh, you know, the big guys wouldn't have made that mistake, you know.
Cool. It's a new round, and let's see if the creature is going to do something else. I mean, it's not going to retreat because that's just not in its wheelhouse. You can see there are some cracks that are forming along its body because of the bolt that Ted hit it with. And there's like maybe some smoke coming out of its mouth. Seems pretty upset about that. So it's probably not trying to give anybody the bite currently, but it is definitely trying to knock over or tackle someone. I'm going to roll randomly to see if it goes after Ted or if it continues to try and go after Natalie's character, or the character Natalie, just because it kind of dislikes them both equally now.
That's fair.
Oh, Ted is coming after you.
Oh, no.
So yeah, it's like I can't get at this. I can't get at this Ghostbuster up on this pillar. I'm coming after this guy, and it just is running straight for you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you folks doing?
I'm gonna run back to Natalie.
Well, here's the thing about that. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you some pushback
Sure.
because this thing was next to Natalie, and this round it is running at you.
Okay.
So if you run towards Natalie, you're running towards the creature because you're just gonna meet in the middle, right?
Okay.
Could you
Can
try
I
and get it to like...
juke around this football thing with
Did
my
you try
run
and do a
skill?
football move? Just
Yeah, listen, I'm great at running.
Yeah, just loop it like Dead by Daylight.
I'll just whoa.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how good Tombstone's tackle is at actually tackling. We'll find out.
I mean, you'd think he'd be good at it. It's kind of his whole.
I would hope so.
It's his whole
given
shtick.
Bane.
So okay.
So I'm gonna try it.
I can't remember if this game has opposed rolls, but I really want to try doing an opposed roll right now. For you.
Hey man, you're the Ghostmaster. As long as
Yeah.
you say there's an opposed roll, I'll believe you on that one.
I'm gonna say that there is. So this boy's rolling his dice. 12. So you would roll your
Roll my run.
Yeah, you'd roll run. You got to beat 12. Oh, you did it because you're such a good
Yeah.
runner.
I'm
So,
the best
yeah.
runner.
There's a slow motion sequence and that thing like da 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 da, and yeah, and Ted's running and the thing's running at him. And he just does the football player dodge like right out of the way of it, and the creature just hits like like a rack of like baseball bats or something, as it goes flying past Ted, and they the rack like explodes and baseball bats go flying everywhere. And yeah, Ted, you make it over to your coworker.
Yeah.
I just imagine, even those baseball bats, like someone would put like the bowling pin sound effect as they all knock
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, and I'll be like, all right, I'm out of proton pack, but I hit the thing and I've got the trap. You just gotta catch it, and then we'll be good to go.
All right, that's what I'm gonna try to do.
I
I'm
will
gonna try to blast.
I will point out that this thing still has its physical shell. It has its candy coated hard shell. And right now, because it got burned, it is keeping its mouth closed. So if you shoot it, you will not hit its soft center.
Okay.
Out
Nougaty
of
filling.
curiosity, before my proton pack blew up, and I was at point blank, and I did like triple the number. Did that help at all?
Oh, it did. Don't get me wrong. That's why this
Okay,
thing has its mouth closed.
Okay, very cool. I wasn't sure. Like, I know double counted. I didn't know if more than that did anything. I'm just curious.
Oh, it does. It does.
Awesome.
No.
Yeah. See, I did what I needed to do.
No, you hurt it significantly. It basically is like it at this point doesn't want to open its mouth because another hit is gonna disorient it. But you have to be able to hit it. So what would you do to try to get it to open its mouth? Right now it's like, sort of picking itself up from this thing that it ran into.
Maybe not so much like making it open its mouth, but just opening the entire mannequin, I guess. I would like to try to aim for a hanging sign or something to fall on it and just like kind of guillotine the mannequin in half.
That's a fun idea. I like that. Oh, something I also just want to mention that I forgot to mention earlier. When we had the slow motion sequence of Ted dodging, the sprinkler system was going, so it was also raining.
Yeah.
It's so dramatic. I love
That's
it.
how good at running I am. The brain doesn't even affect me.
So,
You're muted, Indoor.
We super can't hear you.
we can't hear you. You're totally muted.
You're doing great pantomime.
Yeah.
Your word of
Oh.
Sorry. No, so like all of that's happening. Maurice loves sports. He's seeing Ted do like perfect footwork, definite like the spiral out, and like Maurice is holding on to this little ghost. The rain's falling, and there's just the single tear. He's never been more proud to be a Ghostbuster.
That's so good.
Oh my gosh, fantastic. Okay, so yeah, give me that proton roll to try and cut that sign down. Yeah, there's definitely a sign that's like it's like, go
Bring in
Giants.
Bring in the new year with tons of savings.
Yeah, I'm gonna use 1 brownie point on this. 16?
Yeah, sure. I'll give it to you for it is an object that's not moving. And I like the idea. So, the sign falls down. There's like you hit it with the proton pack, and there's all these sparks as the like chains that were probably connecting it to the ceiling snap, and it falls downward on this like sort of as Tombstone tackles starting to pick itself up. The thing falls and just smacks into it. And you just hear this cracking sound as Tombstone Tackle's physical shell is cut in half. So now it's just the arms of the mannequin, so the back legs of the thing, and the whole like front half has been snapped off. So you can just see inside there, and it's just that little lizard head that's like smoke is curling up from it, and the creature is no longer roaring because it can't do that, but it's just going like rearing up on its back legs, very annoyed. Does Maurice do anything besides cry?
He, like wipes away the little tear, sees the sign, cut the creature in half. And like to himself, like other people might be able to hear it. Just now, that's what I call halftime.
Yeah, nice.
And then he kicks himself because he should have said that's a 50% off right there. But instead,
Ooh.
he's trapped with it. He's
definitely-
gonna, again, just like
Oh, yes. Very good. Okay.
try and move he's just been trying to like move this ghost over Tombstone the entire time.
The entire
Like,
time.
get it
Just
ready.
keeps moving. Yeah. Okay. Take a brownie point for that excellent pun.
Thank you. We found out how to get brownie points, guys.
There are other ways which we will get to in a second, but so we're starting up a new round, right? Yes, we're starting up a new round. Tombstone Tackle at this point might actually be inclined to try to run, but they're probably also disoriented. So could someone get a blast in before that? I think so.
Me.
So we've got
All
our
right.
one proton pack. That's great.
Yeah, I'm
And
ready to
we've
go.
got- yeah.
All right. Not risking. I'm using at least one. We're gonna do one brownie point for this.
Remember, if you want to spend multiple brownie points, you can just succeed. I need to figure out
Oh.
how many that's going to be, but you can
Oh.
attempt to do that if you want. I want to put the number at like 4 or 5.
Oh, that's steep.
That's steep. Yeah.
But it's
That's
an auto
steep.
win.
But it's an auto win.
Kind of. I gotta. Oh, we'll talk about it after. But I really like this mechanic.
Yeah, you know what? I have them to spend. We're gonna do it.
Yeah. Just start looking up puns online and you'll be fine. You spend those brownie points. Proton beam flies out of your wand and wraps around that little goofy puppet head that's inside of Tombstone Tackle. And then Ted throws the trap. I assume, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Oh, nice! It lights up. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
And throws the trap. Both of the creatures are disoriented. The ghosts are disoriented. And the trap goes off, and they both get sucked down into it. Both making their own different, weird little high-pitched, goofy noises. And then the trap slams shut. Smoke's rising off of it. The sprinkler system's still going. And maybe at this point, the sprinkler system, because nothing's still on fire, stops.
Mm-hmm.
And you're all just standing there in a very destroyed sporting goods section.
We did it.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Whew. Oh, now, Tad, correct me if I'm wrong, but Tombstone Tackle, when you open it up, he does have that little head inside of his mouth.
He
right?
does. You
Yeah.
are correct.
Okay, good. That's what I thought from looking at the pictures, but I don't actually own one, so.
Yeah. Wow.
Fantastic.
There's definitely a little head inside. So.
Yeah, you're done. You can all the ghosts in the Macy's in the New York City Herald Square Macy's have been dealt with only some property damage. You can head home now. It's probably 1:30 in the morning.
Do we like call somebody when we're done to lock up the Macy's like survey?
Yeah, probably. There's probably somebody that you have to like get in touch with. But let's assume that you can do that. There are phones in there. You can dial it up. Landline phones. You can pile back into your Winnebago. And head back towards the headquarters. As you're driving through the streets of New York City at 1:30 in the morning on New Year's Day, 1986. Traffic's not great because it is Manhattan. And a lot of people are trying to get home from partying, and there's probably some drunk people on the road.
And
Not
we are
good.
driving a Winnebago through New
Yeah.
You're
York
driving
City
a
streets.
Winnebago,
I
a
love
giant
that.
vehicle down the city streets of Manhattan. We already talked a little bit about the 84 Winnebago and what it looks like. I'll just point out that the whole thing is carpeted. Like, you could look at the pictures of that 84 Winnebago, if anyone wants to Google it, carpeting all the way down. It's just everything is carpet.
Oh yeah, no, I put the blueprint for it from that ad that I had sent y'all into the questions for the court. So if anybody wants to look at the layout, at the grandeur of our Winnebago, you are more than welcome to.
And it takes a while to get, out of there because of the traffic. Let's see, what did I have written for this? Let's see. If you turn on the radio, you can listen to the radio. Do you want to talk about anything on your way back? It's a little bit of a drive.
We
Now
can't
you're
hear you.
muted. Uh-oh. You didn't mute yourself, so this is a problem. Well, while we figure out those technical difficulties.
I think that Maurice will say, hell of a way to spend New Year's, huh?
Yeah. Who thought Mallory would be the lucky one in this scenario?
Out of all the things that could have happened tonight, I feel the worst about giving everybody wet socks on this one. The sprinkler system was not as effective as I thought that it was going to be, but it's you win some, you lose some on that.
Yeah, occupational hazard.
So what was the deal with your ghoulie that you had on what was it in women's clothes?
Yeah, really angry shopper. Really stylish, but maybe a little too obsessed about it.
That makes sense. That checks, yeah. No, he's I mean you saw the little one that was rushing around. Honestly, if anything, we should have grabbed a couple of the McRibs while we were in that there McDonald's. I heard they were going to be discontinued starting next year. This year,
Really?
actually, now that it's 86, it's going to take me a while to get used to writing that number down. I tell you what.
Just several weeks of writing down the wrong year.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Did I fix it?
Fine.
Yeah,
Yes, you
you're
did.
back.
I can hear you again.
That works then.
Cool. What were you doing on the ride back?
Looking at fixing my proton pack.
Oh, I see.
Desliming it and fixing it.
Yeah, there's so much. Yeah, you could take a screwdriver to it and pop it open, take a panel off, and as the panel comes away, these strings of goo just come off of it. I mean, this is nothing new to you though. You've been a Ghostbuster for at least a little while.
It's a hazard of the job. And
Um,
I'm sure we have extra proton packs, but why leave one in disrepair if you can
for
fix
sure. Okay, so what I'm going to cover now that you all have working audio, before you get back to your headquarters,
it?
we're going to go over goals and experience because we just completed a major encounter. To talk a little bit about mechanics in this game, every character has a specific goal to them that they can either choose from some options in the book or they can make one up. When they move towards doing something that accomplishes their goal or is in keeping with that kind of goal, it's a little fuzzy exactly, but when it seems like it makes sense, they can roll a ghost die and then gain brownie points equal to the number rolled, unless they roll a ghost, in which case it is 0. I know that's how it works for goals. So I'm going to say Ted definitely gets to roll a ghost die because he got right up in there. I mean, he did a lot of running, sure, but he got right up into that thing's mouth and blasted it. And his character's goal, Ted's character goal, is to just get right up in it. That's his whole thing. He's very enthusiastic about being a Ghostbuster, just like in real life, and he wants to take risks in terms of busting ghosts, and I feel like that certainly qualifies. But why don't Ted, while you're rolling that die, why don't we hear what Maurice and Natalie's goals are? I don't know if either of them would trigger, but for the audience's sake,
Remind me, it's just a D6, yes?
it's the ghost die, but yeah, D6.
Okay. There's not a special way to roll it, so I'm just going to roll a D6.
No.
3.
3 brownie points.
Nice.
Yeah. Maurice's goal is revenge. for those of you at home, Maurice's backstory is that he and his wife separated because his wife apparently prefers the company of ghosts over Maurice. And I mean, you'll see the art of him, and you won't exactly be super surprised as to why his wife left him for a ghost. However, I don't believe that his goal of revenge progressed. He didn't even get to cop a Nintendo out of this. He had to break it. And I think that, like, with his luck, if he had tried to go back to get another Nintendo, he would have accidentally grabbed, like, a Commodore 64 or something like that. Like, he would have seen, like, yes, game system. I'll be the best dad this Christmas. No.
Oof. Well, Natalie's goal is to serve humanity, whether that is being in a direct line of protecting other humans around, or I think we, since I have a talent in zoology, I think we also talked about animals, but like, I think the only other humans that were in this entire mall were her colleagues, so like.
Yeah, not a lot of chances in that scenario to
Yeah.
save any innocent bystanders, unfortunately. Fun fact, there was actually an NPC, but you didn't run into him. Yeah. So that's fine. You folks get back to your franchise headquarters. So the Ghostbusters RPG. It does not assume you are the Ghostbusters from the movie. Although you can be, it does provide their characters. But it assumes that you and your friends are making your own Ghostbusters characters and are playing a franchise location of the Ghostbusters Incorporated franchise. Now, these folks are in the same city as the main Ghostbusters, but they're doing jobs instead. We'll get to why that is in a minute. But as you pull up to your franchise location, which is not the firehouse, it is a separate place. Who would like to describe what it looks like?
So we get up, it's probably like, it took us like an hour to get through Manhattan in this Winnebago on New Year's Eve. It has taken us a while. It is raining. It is not great. Wet socks all around. Finally arrive, and it is it's the back area of what looks to be an almost abandoned arcade. It looks like this arcade is in old disrepair. I don't think we came up with a name for it. I want to say it's called like Coin King or something like that.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
I like it.
Sure.
So we pull up to Coin King. All the lights are off. Like, we bring the Winnebago around the back. And inside is it just looks like the Flynn arcade from Tron, but like in Tron Legacy when they arrive, and like everything's covered in like dust and cobwebs, and like we're still working on getting it back up and running, but like we got a really good deal on the amount of floor space that we had, and it has a really solid basement, so really, like, couldn't argue too much on there. We just happened to inherit all of these old arcade cabinets, which we'll figure out something to do with them, I'm sure.
I mean, they're not even that old at this point. For those for history buffs out there, it's 86, so arcades aren't totally old hat, but there was this huge boom in from 80 to 82 where arcades were like the hottest thing and everyone was going to them. And then it was just very unsustainable because it was like a huge fad. And people stopped going to arcades in the numbers that they had been. And by the time 86 rolls around, we have the Nintendo Entertainment System, and people are getting more into home game consoles. So arcades are still around, but there's probably several of them for sale around that just weren't able to maintain, and this was certainly one of them. Great electrical infrastructure building like this, you know.
Oh yeah, it's
so
wonderful on the grid.
Yeah. So you get in, you notice as you're walking by the front desk, which, let's see, I had a little bit written up about this. There's the so there's all those different arcade cabinets. There's Several cabinets still stand in the lobby, what is now your lobby. Um, in the back rooms, there are some that may have been cannibalized to add parts to your equipment, which I like the idea of. The snack bar is your reception desk, but there you are currently between receptionists. The last one you had, I mean, they were just a little too anxious, and they saw like a ghost or two, and it freaked them out, and they're like, I don't want to do this anymore, so they got out of there. But yeah, so the reception desk is the snack bar. All the snacks have been taken away. And there's some mail on there. There's a couple bills, specifically electric. And there is a postcard that was just delivered today that maybe one of you brought it in, but maybe the other two of you haven't gotten a chance to look at. If someone wants to pick that up and take a look at it.
Yeah.
Sure.
You pick it up, and it says, is a standard greetings from Los Angeles classic postcard. And you flip it over, and on the back of it, it's written, I thought I had it written down here. Yeah, it's like, hey guys, thanks for picking up all the slack there in Manhattan. I mean, this movie deal is just negotiating it is real hard work out here in this beautiful 75-degree weather in January. I'm sure you all are having fun, just as much fun as Ray and Egon and Winston and me down here. Also, side note, forgot to tell you, we were not able to, we decided to head down, and Janine decided to cash in on all her vacation time and tagged along, so we don't have any kind of reception staff to lend you, but it'll only be, I don't know, a few more weeks until we're back dealing with these negotiations, and then you should be all set. Tinseltown has just been a gas, and gosh, I think Egon might even get a tan. It's wild. So hope you guys are holding in, and Happy New Year. And it's signed Dr. Peter Venkman.
Right. Well, couple more weeks then. And I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it.
It'll really show that if we can hold down the fort, we will roll with the big dogs.
I will also point out you have a telephone with an answering machine.
Oh, fancy.
Fancy. It's like a separate big chunky device that's sitting next to the phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the
like we're in the
tape already
future.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got the cassette tape in it. And there's a red light blinking on it when you get in. So someone must have called while you were out.
Yeah. Maurice will like take the traps and start heading downstairs if other people want to take the phone.
Oh yeah, well, that's a question. Do we have our own containment grid in our facility?
You definitely do, and yes,
Okay.
it would be in the basement.
Cool.
Or
I want to make sure we didn't have to cut across all the way over to Tribeca to drop them off at the other firehouse.
Definitely not. So my sketch out of this area from some notes I wrote up, and you can feel free to change this if you'd like. The original offices of the arcade, so like the back rooms, is where you have your sleeping quarters, because you can be on call like later at night, and the workshop for building stuff. And then in the basement, you've got your containment grid, and yeah, like I already talked about, the lobby and snack bar area.
All right, yeah, I'll go hit the button on the answering machine.
Sure. Beep. It mostly just sounds like static. Like there was some sort of electrical interference, and you're not sure, maybe it was the answering machine is on the fritz, but it was probably on the end of whoever was calling. And you can make out a voice like very faintly, but you can't hear what they're saying. It's like, is this a like that kind of thing?
Huh. Well, that's interesting. Well, it sounds like there's another job in there somewhere, but unless they call back, I don't really know what else we're gonna do.
Hmm.
Do we?
You've got super science on your side. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say we need to like run this recording through some sort of uh analyzer of some kind. I don't know what we've got that we can do with that, but whatever Ghostbuster based equipment we have.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that you wouldn't already have a device like that, but you can attempt to make one. Or you can be like, we're in Manhattan. Maybe we can buy some specialty parts from somewhere, or maybe there is a reason why, like, there would be some of this kind of equipment somewhere in the city for like audio analyzing, and we can go there and try to use theirs.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, it's an answering machine, so we don't have a callback number.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
no
we'd have to
callback though.
we'd have to have been there to have picked up the call to be
Hmm.
able to call it back.
Yes.
Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, I guess. I mean, it's also 1:30 a.m. on New Year's Day. Granted, we are in Manhattan of all places, so the
That's
potential of
true.
things
Yeah.
being open there may be some,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
you could.
also it's 86, so I feel like there's less things going to be open at 1 o'clock on
Yeah,
New
and
Year's Day.
it's a holiday.
Yeah,
You could definitely try to pursue that tomorrow if you were going to try and go somewhere. You're also
yeah,
just like all pretty beat.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't erase the message. That's the big thing, right? Keep it, and then try to analyze it through whether it's EVP software or anything that we can. I mean, we literally can contain ghosts. I'm sure we can come up with some sort of audio analyzing device. So that's a problem for tomorrow, Ted.
Hmm.
Time to take a break, get some sleep.
Let's just get some sleep. Get into your cot.
For the containment purpose, with the trap that we had that had two ghosts in it, anything weird about like transferring them from
I'm
that?
gonna say no. I'm gonna say that is a totally fine thing to do. Yeah, because as we were talking, maybe we were talking before the show, or maybe we talked earlier in the show. I don't remember, but there's a precedent set actually in the cartoon for sure, and in the second movie, that you can grab more than one ghost in the same trap.
I think that Maurice will just pull out like a little notebook journal and just two ghost, one trap, and like tucks it into his jacket. Like, okay, I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah, like maybe if they were both really powerful, they wouldn't both fit in there. Who knows?
Time to take the old slimed jumpsuit off and maybe take a shower and then go to bed.
I like the
Mhm.
idea that the jumpsuit, because it's been like an hour, has just like the slime has gotten like really crusty.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's so gross.
That's so gross. I want to look up in the rules right quick how resting and healing works. We know in this game you can use hospital time, where your character's like out of it for a couple weeks or whatever, and you heal at the
sick
hospital.
time in this game?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Is that for escapism?
You're right.
Wow. But yeah, I assume that just from like getting a good night's sleep is going to restore some. I'm just not finding it in the book. Maybe I'll have you restore like half of the amount that you lost or something. You know what? I'll just do that for now. And if I find another rule about it, then we will
Cool.
deal with that. But yeah, however much you lost when you rest, you restore half of it.
Rounding up or down?
Round up.
Perfect.
And yeah, if anybody wants to do anything else before they hit the hay, let me know. Otherwise, we will fast forward to the morning of New Year's Day.
What
1986.
is everybody's sleeping situations like? Like, do we all Like, do we sleep at the arcade, or do people have like?
Well, I definitely do.
Okay,
100%.
100%.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure that in order to save a little bit of money, Maurice is definitely like there's a cot in a corner somewhere, like one of those like wireframe, not great to like twin size mattress that he just calls his little kingdom.
Yeah, big same. I mean, like, Natalie's day job is working at a museum, which does not pay a lot. So,
I also
Oh,
imagine
wait.
we'd have, you know, we have sleeping quarters there. Probably also, I mean, for those of us who aren't living there either out of necessity or out of choice, for jobs just like this that end at 1 o'clock in the morning, like so you
mhm.
don't have to then drive home or catch a cab or whatever. You can just like
Just crash
crash.
there, yeah.
Mhm.
Don't want to take the subway.
At 1:30 on
Uh,
New Year's, that'll be a fun trip.
No,
You see worse things
uh,
there than we did in the
that's
department store.
dangerous. Yeah.
okay, so I just realized something that I had totally forgotten about, but is
Ooh.
super relevant.
Okay.
Heck, you work at a museum. Do you work at the New York Natural History Museum?
I would say, yeah, this is probably like the biggest one with the largest staff.
Interesting. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Very good. That's going to be relevant for what's going
Oh,
on. The next morning, still cold out. It's I mean, global warming hadn't hit yet at this point, so it's New York
Mm-hmm.
City, New Year's Day, probably a crisp 35 or something. Uh, you wake up, you're still I don't know, maybe it's like 9:30. You're probably all still pretty tired, but there's a banging on the door.
it never ends.
Yeah, I
Maurice is
imagine
up with coffee.
I imagine I fell asleep with basically just like I am dressed now with like the jumpsuit like half just like around like tied around my waist.
Hmm.
Just hit the bed, fell asleep, and I'm just gonna wake up like that and be like,
Oh, I also really like the image of your face is slimed
mm-hmm,
and like some of your like neck area is slimed and
mm-hmm.
you have like a slime tan line, right? Because you took
Yeah,
the
sure.
jumpsuit
Oh my
off.
God.
Yeah, and then I'll just stumble out of the room towards the lobby.
hmm
As
Looks.
yeah, as the commercials on break, we have some Nescafes.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
coffee. You.
Uh, yeah, I will get coffee for sure.
Hmm. There is a short, bald man with a short cropped beard and glasses who seems to be rapping at the door. He's got a like a wool coat on and a scarf. Um, and if you open the door for him, he's just like, "Oh, good, good, good. You're in. You're in. Very, very excellent. Is Natalie here? Is Natalie or Natalie? Are you here?"
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
This is your boss from your other job.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and it is, let me see, I have the name written down. I named a lot of NPCs, and now do I remember any of them? No, luckily. The New York Museum of Natural History. Mr. Peter Reynolds, the anxious museum curator. And he sort of takes his scarf and his coat off, and he's got like the little like tweed jacket and everything, and he's got like a little pocket watch, and oh yeah, no, Natalie, I know you weren't you weren't booked to work today, but something really really important happened last night, and I think that I'm glad that you're with this outfit because I could use their I think we've got a ghost situation.
In the museum?
Yes, yes. Um, Now, side note for you, because you would know this, Mr. Reynolds has been of the opinion that the Natural History Museum is haunted for like as long as you've worked there. You have not ever seen any evidence of this. There might have been a point where he made you like bring a PKE meter because he like found out you were ghost busting. He like made you bring a PKE meter and sweep the building and you found nothing. but he's been convinced of it for as long as you've known him, and it seems like he's really gotten into it now.
Okay, now I know the lighting in the deep sea exhibit can be really eerie sometimes, but are you sure?
He's like, oh yes, no, I'm positive. Look, last night somebody broke in, or the ghost did it, and I think it's a ghost. I'm positive it's the ghost. The the Egyptian exhibit that we just got in from overseas last week. It's supposed to open soon. The several different artifacts of it are just gone. Just the alarms went off late last night, and it's just we can't find a trace. And the detectives are there now. If you should go too, and I'm sure they have no idea what they're doing. They're definitely not looking for any ghost or anything like that. So I'm. So this is.
She looks to the other two. What do you think?
Maurice is at the snack bar,
Mallory.
like making like a just like a ham and cheese or something like that to start the day, and just. So it could have. Do you not have like cameras or anything there? It's Canadian. I don't know where that went.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Got any cameras over there, bud?
He's like, well, that's the thing. The footage, the cameras went offline at just the time that the theft happened. So that's why I'm sure it was the spectral interference.
I got a second question.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you pay well?
He's like, well, we are publicly funded, aren't they? Is the Natural History Museum publicly funded? I actually have no idea.
Probably.
Suggested donations,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Maybe it's one of those things where he's like, oh yeah, and then like Natalie, you would actually know the answer to this, and the answer is no.
No, you mentioned the cameras going off. Did you happen to call us last night?
No, I didn't find out about it until this morning when I came in. I raced right across town after I saw. I knew it was a ghost, and you would need it to be informed.
What's your boss?
I'm willing to try this one more time. And she picks up the PKE meter. I will try this one more time.
He's like,
would that make you happy?
Yes. No, we'll get to the heart of this, and we'll save the exhibit. And then he rushes out the door and realizes that the three of you did not immediately rush out the door, and then comes back in. And he's like, oh, I took a cab. Does anybody need? How are you getting there? Could someone give me a ride?
Points to the Winnebago.
And he's like, oh, excellent. You can.
So do we go to the museum, or should we try to figure out what was up with that message from last night, or do we want to split up on this, or do we want to just do one and then the other?
First off, we gotta call Mallory.
Sure.
Let her know either way which way we're going about this. I say museum because he can pay us. Phone call doesn't.
It's actually probably going to cost us to figure out even what's happening with that on the phone. We have to get it analyzed. So that's going to cost us money, and who knows, right? Maybe there's nothing there.
How about this? Hey, you took a cab here?
Yes.
You fill up the tank on the Bago, and we'll take you over to the museum.
And he's like, you got it.
Like in Maurice's mind, sucker.
Yeah,
Dumb
for
dumb.
real.
Yeah.
That Winnebago's
Yeah, no,
tank is massive.
Huge.
This young, or not young, this small New York fellow definitely doesn't own a vehicle because he lives in New York and he just
Yeah, of
takes
course.
cabs or the subway everywhere. So he definitely has no idea how much money that's going to cost.
Excellent. Radical. And I think with that, Maurice will like, he'll
Load up.
he wasn't even making a sandwich. He'll like roll, like he'll like put some easy cheese down the middle of a piece of ham, roll it up, and just put on his jacket and grab the keys.
Has a man ever been so divorced?
A little bit of easy cheese and mustard goes a long way.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I guess it's time to suit up and load up the car and all that stuff and let's head out, I guess.
Yeah, you know the drill. Pick what items you're bringing. You can hold 3 in your inventory, and you can stash. Let's actually make a number for the Bago. I want to say like 5, or if you take like a bigger one, like there's that Aura like spectrum analyzer is like a bigger thing that might take up like 2 spaces maybe. But yeah. So just be thinking about that as we drive across the city on the morning drive to the museum this morning. Much easier because most people have the day off today, and after everybody was partying, nobody wants to be going out at 9:30 in the morning on New Year's Day. They don't have to be. So I mean, it's still New York, but much easier, and you're able to get to the New York City Museum of Natural History. And there is a police car there. I don't actually know how the parking situation works for that building, but let's assume it's nearby.
Sure.
Clearly there are cops there.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a cop, they just roll up in front of the building, put on the lights, and say nobody drive in front, like nobody hit me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess that's true. They can
they can park wherever.
Do whatever they want.
Well, I mean, also it's 86. The Ghostbusters are an established entity, so I feel like if we pull up and we put our lights on, we might be able to just park out front.
Sure, yeah, and city services love the Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. They totally do.
They do.
After
they love you guys.
100-foot marshmallow man destroyed a city. It's fine.
We didn't destroy a Macy's for 3 ghosts.
There was at least 2 other floors we didn't even go on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're lucky.
yeah, we could have been blasting from 1 to 7 and it would have been fine. Anyway, so I'm gonna take a working proton pack.
Very good.
Natalie, are you gonna, or heck, are you gonna grab a PKE meter for this?
I was gonna grab a trap for this.
Okay, I'll take a trap and a PKE meter then if
Okay.
you want me to do the analyzing.
Sounds good.
So
I'm going to grab the catalog of nameless horrors.
Ooh.
nice.
Because if we don't know what we're up against, it might, I mean, a little information never hurt. That, I imagine that every one of these books is like a soft cover that Maurice like folds up like a TV guide into the back pocket.
100%.
I mean, grab a visor. Anybody grab a visor yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll take the visor.
Yeah,
Do we want to bring walkies this time, or?
I feel like we'll be okay.
Okay. Then
I will throw a video camera in the car though, in case we do end up having, because maybe the cameras went out. Maybe we could film it and see if it's like a thing in the area.
Yeah. I like
That's
that.
my item for the car.
Do we each get a car item?
You said we're gonna give us a number, right?
Yeah, I think like 5 is probably good for a total that you can fit in the Bago. I mean, it's a big vehicle.
It's a large. It's luxury, is what it is. I would like to grab the Alpine gear.
Ooh, nice.
Of course.
You never
Ooh.
know.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Roylance guide. to secret societies and sects if things like artifacts are missing.
Is that going to be on your person or in the car?
That'll be on my person.
Okay. Very cool.
And I guess so. We've got camcorder, we've got alpine gear, and then like if Natalie wants to throw something else in the car, and then I figure the other two we can just make traps as backup.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a reasonable thing.
Then Mallory will also be bringing free items as
True,
well.
true.
Yeah, so just good to have extra traps so we don't have to do the double if we don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's conserving traps, but you know.
In case it's unclear for any of you watching at home, there is a fourth member of this team, but their apartment flooded, so they've had to call out of work because they're trying to deal with that. Did their apartment really flood, or did they just not want to work on New Year's? Who knows?
That's a tune in next week to find out.
Until just now.
Yeah, but yeah, they called out. So yeah, there's Natalie knows this about the staff at the place. So there's Peter Reynolds, curator. There is also Linda Williams, who is like just works front desk basically. She's the lowest of the level employees. And she's like, I don't know, like a young woman, might be in her like early 20s. Maybe she's like doing it as a college internship. That might be something that's happening, right? So she works there, and there has recently is a visiting Romanian archaeologist named Sofia Vladinov, who is she's probably not an Egypt expert. I don't think she's there for that exhibit, but she's like helping out with some other different exhibits the museum is doing, so she's hanging around. Linda seems very nice, upbeat young lady. Sophia is she speaks in a thick Romanian accent, but I'm not going to do that because I'm very bad at accents. But she is very unpleasant to speak to. She's you have not had great interactions with her thus far.
Good to know.
Very standoffish, doesn't really have any interest in making any friends, just wants to do the work and be left alone, and will be like, why are you bothering me, is her base reaction. But the four of you, including Mr. Reynolds, walk up the steps to the front doors. Looks like the place is, there's like a closed sign. It probably just says closed for New Year's, right? Closed for holiday. And Reynolds takes out his big key ring and unlocks it and lets you in, and you can hear voices immediately in the lobby of several people talking. There's an old man wearing a security guard outfit who is sort of standing a little. He looks a little out of it. This is Gus. He's the watchman, and maybe the night watchman. So you've run into him in passing once or twice. Seems like a nice guy, but he's old. Kind of just it's an easy job that he has taken. He makes sure the place is locked up. That's pretty much it. Probably couldn't actually stop a burglar. And talking to him are two detectives. Looks like late 30s, early 40s, lean, good shape guys. One of them is white guy with pretty good looking, nice hair and stubble, chomping on a cigarette. You can smoke inside. It's 1986.
That's true.
And the other guy is a black guy with a very who looks much more clean cut, right? And they both have classic detective suits, right? And you just, as you enter, it's like the middle of their conversation, and the white guy is just like, so you're telling me you were upstairs when the alarms went off? And Gus is like, yeah, I was upstairs when the alarms went off. And he's like, And the guy's like, are you sure? Do you need someone to jog your memory? Could you please be a little specific? We're kind of dealing with a lot of money of stolen merchandise. The guy's like, no, I'm pretty sure that I was upstairs. I heard I was start awake. I was looking at one of the exhibits and I heard the alarms going off and I went down to check it out. And like I said, there was nobody there, and the things were missing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see anybody fleeing the scene. The cops are just like, okay, all right. And then one turns back and sees you folks entering, and they're like, Mr. Reynolds, I thought the museum was supposed to be closed to the public today. I don't know who these people are, but this is a police investigation. You can't just be bringing people in here. This is not how this works.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
There you go. Mr. Reynolds is like, no, these are they're Ghostbusters. They're gonna solve the problem. And both of the detectives look at the three of you, and then the one of the guys throws his hands up into the air and he says, "Rich, we're done. We can go home. The Ghostbusters are here." And then the other guy's like, "Dell, you're right. The gosh, I mean, I'm so glad that the cavalry has arrived. New York PD will just step aside for all you folks and let the real heroes handle this situation." But in all seriousness, you people should leave. I have no idea what you're doing here, and I don't care what Mr. Reynolds says. This is a pretty common smash and grab. I don't think there's any spooks around, so you're not needed. Thanks.
So at this point, Natalie like shows her, museum personnel ID that she probably brought with her. And it says, "We're very certain of the grab that happened, but I don't know about you, but I haven't seen any smash that happened. We'll stay in our lane if you stay in yours. This is keeping this guy off of your back. So I think that might help you in the long run."
The white guy who you gathered name is Dell. He looks at you, looks at your badge, and he thinks for a second. He says, "Detective Dell Crenshaw, you work here. Where were you last night?"
I was in the Macy's over down the road.
Oh, and then the other guy, Rich, is like, "Oh, the one on Herald Square. They got some great deals going on today. Dell, we gotta check that out before we head out."
50% off sports merchandise. He like fist pumps to himself. Like,
and they're like, "All right, well, you got anybody who can corroborate that?" And the two of you raise your hands, and they're like, "Yes, your fellow Ghostbusters." Well, okay, sure. Well, you know what? Hey, maybe we were too harsh. Let me show you what we're dealing with here. They walk you through to the. Oh, we're just about up on time. We're almost at the end. They walk you through to the the wonders of ancient Egypt exhibit that is there. And you see that there is a big display case that holds several different artifacts. Looks like there are two that are missing. I mean, at least Natalie would certainly know because she saw them all get brought in. There are two that are missing, but that display case, it looks like it has been opened, but like someone like unlocked it and opened it, and just it was left open. Then there are two big standing glass cases that hold sarcophagi, one of which is a really fancy like pharaoh's sarcophagus, all the gold and everything. That is still closed and the display case is intact. The other one is a sort of more utilitarian sarcophagus. It's not as ornate, right? The lid for that one is lying on the floor and the glass is just shattered. all over the place. And there's like some taping off stuff, crime scene type thing. And there's no mummy inside the utilitarian sarcophagus. So you also see there is Sophia is here, sort of like taking stock of everything, making sure nothing else has been taken, sort of off to the side. She sees the group of you come in and this guy's like, ugh, and sort of turns away, continues what she's doing. And Peter Reynolds is like, oh gosh, it's just as bad. Yeah, I saw it this morning, but I'm just like, oh, this exhibit's ruined. And he just starts hypervent. He like takes out a paper bag and starts breathing into it and goes off to the side. And Detective Crenshaw is just like, so here's the story. Security cameras go out at about 12:30. Just power cut to them. Someone, there's no signs of forced entry into the security room, so someone probably walked in there and just turned it off. That's what our going theory is. And then they must have also turned off the alarm system for the display case because those were never tripped. But what woke up the security guard, Gus, over here, and Gus is like, that's me, I'm Gus, he waves, is this big sucker being broken open, and the mummy was taken from it. So right now, we are assuming that it might be staff if they had access to the security rooms. We've questioned Miss Vladinoff over here already. And we've questioned Mr. Gus and Mr. Reynolds, and Dell looks over. He's like, "You didn't do it." He points at Gus, and Gus is like, "No, I didn't do it." And then he points over, and then Dell points, or no, Rich points over at you. And Natalie's like, "Did you do it?" He's like, "Oh, you didn't do it. They didn't do it." Turns back to Crenshaw, and he's like, "Man, I give up. Being a policeman's too hard. Let's be firemen instead."
I mean, you're also missing someone.
And Mr. Reynolds stops hyperventilating for just a moment to be like, "Oh, no, that's true. I'm sorry. I forgot to mention Linda, our greeter. She, I called her, but she hasn't arrived yet. I don't know where she is."
I just have a clarifying question for you, Lex. The glass from the sarcophagus looks like it's broken out of that or broken into.
Well, it's kind of strewn all over the floor. It's hard to tell, but you might be able to make a roll to figure that out.
I would love to make a roll. What would that be?
I mean, brains, probably.
Okay, not a cult, I assume. I'm going to keep asking every time.
I don't think this would be a cult.
Okay, just a straight brains roll?
Yeah, if there's any kind of forensics, it would be that, but...
Ooh, that is a 9 on 5d6.
Ooh, yeah, no, sorry.
No worries.
You can't tell. But yeah, seems like there's been some sort of thing at the museum. Oh, and the detectives will also point out no signs of forced entry and on any of the doors that they found. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, time to sweep surveillances.
Bum, 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 the mystery of the museum. And we're pretty much on time. So with our heroes, with our spectral exterminators on a new case. Now they've got to deal with the NYPD and a missing mummy. What's gonna happen next time on The Really Real Ghostbusters in Terror Vision?
Woo! We did it!
Yes! Premiere!
Can we talk about how I was the only one who rolled ghost die and I rolled 3 of them in
Yeah.
the session?
We can
I
definitely
was
talk about
waiting
that.
for it.
We
I
can-
was waiting for it when I was doing like 2 and 3 extra like dice. I was like, I'm gonna hit one.
we can definitely talk about in the after show.
After
But
show.
for now, we do have to do our sign-offs because this was a absolutely incredible game with some absolutely fantastic folks. Speaking of, Lex, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh gosh, you can find me on Twitter at Dank Dungeons. I do all sorts of writing, and sometimes I do music stuff, and sometimes I do actual plays and streams and things like that. You can find links to all of the things I do on that Twitter. There's a link tree on the profile. Most recently I had a sale on my RPG that I wrote that's on itch.io, so maybe check that out. People liked it.
Hell yeah. And Ted, where can we find you? What do you do?
Well, you can find me on all the social medias at Nerd Immersion. YouTube would be the best place to see all of the videos and content that I put out there. Little slow on the content at the moment, but that's not a conversation for right now. That's a conversation for another time.
Sounds good. And Heck, where can we find you? What do you do?
Yeah, you can find me on pretty much all of the social medias, wherever there is internet, at SirHeckalot. It's same branding across everything. Itch, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all of the places. In terms of the TTRPG space, you can find me on a whole bunch of other channels, including Lost Caravan RPG, Neon Lights Roleplay, Dat Magic Juice's channel. There's probably some other ones in there every once in a while for a one shot or two. But yeah, I'm everywhere. So follow me on social media to see where I'll be next.
Excellent. And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey, Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/indooradventures. We do shows like this on Monday and Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And all of our shows are currently made available on YouTube at youtube.com/indooradventures or anywhere audiocasts are being made available for free. And speaking of things that are being made available for free, we are going to be going into our Patreon-supported after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community. So if you've had any questions during this show, you've probably seen me post the link to the Discord off to the side. A great place to ask your questions. Or if you want to get the answers to those questions, you can again go to patreon.com/indooradventures. The link is also in the description or the Twitch chat off to the side. But with that, I would like to say once again, thank you to everybody who decided to stop by. Thank you to Lex for running this absolutely incredible game. Thank you to these players for putting up with our bullshit once again this week. And we'll see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye!